T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, we are here. How do I sound? I cannot hear myself. You say something, Ricky?
I can hear you, boy.
Sorry, repeat.
I can hear you, boy.
Awesome. Start. Shit. Yeah, I gotta get new headphones tomorrow. God damn it.
You got some shitty ones. Yep.
Well, no, it's not just the connection, but I literally went to slip it over my head and I snapped the band, so it's just
nice going.
Just barely hanging onto my head.
Falling apart now.
Yeah. Let me check with Dave. I think his name's Dave.
Dave.
I don't think he's ever streamed before.
I don't know. Well, that's all good. Send him on the link. That's all good. Sorry we're a little late, folks. Yeah, sometimes people like to sleep when they're supposed to stream. But that is all good. Oh, man. It's funny. We have, things we could talk about quite a bit, but I feel like all of them are pretty short overall. And you seemed interested in, 2 of them.
Yeah. Oh wait, I think you made
That's all good. Yeah, he's right here.
it.
There he is.
Nice. That worked out.
Perfect.
What is up, BTM reviews?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I guess we're your
No,
first stream.
Well, my Twitter account is weird. When I on my phone, it's to my normal email address, but on the web browser, it's some chick's Twitter page. I have no idea how to fix it.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe
I'm not-
you're trans. Maybe that's what the internet's trying to tell you.
Well, I'm in the midst of a conversion, so
Ah,
let's see.
Well, I wish you good fortune on that transition.
From from old to older. That's what the transition is.
Yeah. I'll pull up the tweet in a minute because I want to show people what got me onto you. Do you want us to call you BTM? You go by
You
Dave,
can call me.
right?
You can call me Dave. Yeah.
Awesome. You can call me Angus, call Rookie, Rookie, F
Rook.
slur. I don't care.
yeah. I'll
So
accept it either way.
So are you guys both East Coast?
No, he's out in Washington.
I'm one of the few
Oh.
people on the West Coast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he actually benefits, I think, being West Coast, hanging out with East Coasters, because he's still got, theoretically, if he's not working, he's still got 3 hours to play with compared to everyone else going to bed.
That's true. That's true. While y'all
So
are
do you-
sleeping, I got time to roam.
How often do you guys live stream?
Every Thursday.
Okay. You got real jobs too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been lucky the last couple weeks with EVS when we do his reactions to his reviews. Luckily, I was off like 2 or 3 consecutive Saturdays. So that really worked out for me. Let me find this post. We'll showcase this. Then we'll say hi to the chat and dig into this. Don't think we're gonna have a lot. Yeah. So I just want to apologize, Dave. I've had a long couple days because I just got personal stuff, and then yesterday, because I had to get these tickets like months ago. Buddy of the channel who lives in Columbus area like me, he got me on to Ryan Long, like as far as being aware he was coming to town, and so I just saw the price, so I snagged the tickets right away. But it was last night, and so I had to be up to go to my area where I work, make sure I'm up and stuff. I had to be up at like 4, and I actually woke up just naturally before that. But I also took a weed gummy, and I never smoke or imbibe outside of like a drink or two.
Mm-hmm.
So that really like, whoa. So we kept calling like, hey, I want to take a nap for like an hour and a half because I need it. And then I wake up and it's like 9:15. I'm like, oh crap, the show.
Oh, that's great. Was the show good?
Yeah, Ryan Long is pretty good.
Is he getting canceled though? Aren't people trying to cancel him?
Probably, but he's already just roped that into his act and his like YouTube presence where he's like talking about Britain and stuff, and he's like, all right, so here's my plan to do stand up in Britain, and he's like listing off all these things that should like get him in jail over there.
Oh, you mean kind of like Az talk shit on YouTube, but he doesn't get any kind of penalties on him in Britain? I mean, you hear the shit he's talking about having sex with your mother. Ugh, it's gross.
Yeah, playing tough when you're a internet potato. You just don't talk shit to people. That's my opinion. All right, so I found the post. Let me share this. Get rid of. There we go. So this is what caught me onto you, thanks to old Rip a Goalpost. He says, "New Detractor. Eric is going to be bankrupt if he keeps making decisions like he's making, paying for oversized warehouses, full-time staff. Money runs out. He's not producing a book a month, and he's losing 33 to 60% per book." That was a quote from you, and that's why I love Rip a Goalpost. Why I follow him, because I think he's either a double agent or secretly a detractor.
It's hard to tell. I don't think he's on the payroll like a lot of the guys. are constantly posting defending the crap, because I actually had a guy on a Friday night, coming at me, and I said, "Dude, do you work for RIPA?" And he said NDA, man, and then he blocked me. Uh, and this is, I have no idea about screenshotting conversations. I'm just talking on the internet, dude. It doesn't mean anything. But when they block you, you're like, wow, these people are really thin-skinned. They have.
That's when you get your alts.
What is that?
Oh, just an alternate that no one knows, so you can find the
Oh.
same conversation and screenshot it.
Oh yeah, my wife said that. She said, you know what? I could probably log in with my account and find those conversations.
Ooh, Mrs. BTM.
Yeah. Yeah, she thinks I'm an idiot.
What did she think of all this internet stuff? Comics.
It's brand new. I only started doing this at the end of December. Because you guys, were you guys fans of FNT?
Me and Ricky go back to like 2018 YouTube with all these channels. So
Yeah, so you've all been fans, and I've been a fan probably right about the midpoint of COVID or whatever, right? It just is what it is. But you watch that FNT show, and you like a lot of the guys at first, and then you watch their individual shows, but then after a while you just say, wait a minute, they are everything they're preaching against. And it's even grosser, because they act like they're above who they hate, and they're not. They're just a bunch of guys. Gary. I do you guys think that Gary's the most honest, or do you think he's the one that's kind of like the ringleader?
I'd say he has the most experience. I think like he worked at a comic book shop and stuff. So I mean, there's some real life to pull into some of the stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's sincere about his comic book love. I really do. But I also think that he's kind of figured out the algorithm so well that he's just got everybody. I mean, guys, when you look at the Ryan Cannell, the Yellow Flash, thumbnails every day, they're the exact same thing. It's unbelievable. And you just go, wait, this is the most. Look, guys, I'm an adult man. At the end of the day, what the fuck do I care if he fails? If I'm cursing too much, why do I care if Disney fails? If they fail, they fail. That's not something that they need to keep reminding me about. Lots of companies fail every day.
Yeah, true. I kind of see them as like they're like a good breaking in for people that aren't familiar with the culture war, sort of. But then after you're familiar with it, then find other ones that fill, the more substantive side.
Who do you go to now?
I mean, Mahler's a huge one that I listen to for the most part.
I like Mahler a lot because I appreciate his reviews. I think he puts so much effort into those reviews. It's unbelievable. And I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he wants to be any part of this comic book war stuff. I don't think he has.
Well, he's not usually, even with the woke stuff in general. They whenever on their shows, they don't usually talk about what's woke or not. They just comment on what it is and criticize it with the same standards that they do for critiquing any movie and stuff.
I feel like the Critical Drinker gives honest reviews too. He's not always negative about movies. He's more than happy to give a positive review on stuff.
He out of them, I think, goes out of his way to try to find ones that people might not have heard of as well that he wants to give some credit to.
Yeah, it's funny you're saying all this because it's like my view is fuck all of them. They're all charlatans besides like Mahler, I think, is proven himself to be kind of just an island of his own. That for some reason, whether it's money or overlap of fandom, whatever the case, he hangs out with these idiots that are way beneath him, in my opinion.
I don't think he should have joined the real BBC. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Nerdrotic, I repeatedly this last couple years, I'm like, yeah, fuck FNT. They're frauds. They're gaming the system. They're gaming, conservative nerd rage. for
Mhm.
clicks. They're you know, they're going to hold certain punches. They're going to pretend they like Gina Carano, pretend they love Cara Dune. But I've said this, like, at least Nerdrotic actually makes good videos, and I don't mean ones that like, oh, I like them necessarily. It's like
No, the production value's there though.
the production and the research to, you know, he's got an angle, but he's sold you on an angle, but layering it with, you know, good research about whatever topic. You know, it's like he's not just saying, oh, it's woke because diversity. He's
Mhm.
going in depth of like, well, not just are they diverse, but look at how appropriately for Hollywood diverse their opinions are, you know. And so yeah, I give him credit. I'll watch his actual videos, but yeah, all these people, they figured out this is easy money and they don't want to work a real job, and so they just camp on the internet and try to make mountains out of molehills about everything. Like, I love how you're pointing out the Yellow Flash titles and Ryan Canal. It's like, they are fucked. They
Oh my-
hate you. You know, I've been saying that for all. Me and Rookie, I was reading to him the like 10-pull style of titles of these people, and I'm like, the stressors. I get a kick out of it. I'll pull them up in a minute to showcase what I mean. If you I'm sure you get it, but let me address the let me address the chat. We got 14 in here so far. Thank you for joining. We got Keely Chow. He's being a beefy boy in the chat. Long time listener. He says late and Rizzy when he's drunk. So yeah, it needs to be emojis. Got Karen in the house, of course. What's up, Karen? Sorry, your name is Karen.
That's my sister's. That's my sister's name.
Oh wow, it'd be funny
Oh,
if
man.
she's actually your sister.
I don't think so.
Well, she's Canadian, so that probably
Yeah.
rules it out for you. Bad take, Vojan. Sorry, just I'm still at like the same spot I am on the haunted vagina. I will finish it this. I got a 3-day this coming up tomorrow, so I will pound away at that haunted vagina. If you don't know, Dave, it's a weird book by Carlton Mellick III. He does a bunch of weird books, and Tina, I guess, found out about him from a book review of The Haunted Vagina, and so I actually bought it.
Did you like it?
I'm halfway through. I can't say it's really a payoff thing, but let me see if it's got a synopsis on the back.
I see my daughter's in the chat. Thank her very much for saying hi.
Oh wow, okay. Let me just pull it right so I don't forget. Haunted vagina. Let me find a synopsis for you. It's difficult to love a woman whose vagina is a gateway to the world of the dead. Steve is madly in love with his eccentric girlfriend, Stacy. Unfortunately, their sex life has been suffering as of late because Steve is worried about the odd noises that have been coming from Stacy's pubic region. She says that her vagina is haunted. She doesn't think that's a big deal. Steve, on the other hand, completely disagrees. When a living corpse climbs out of her during an awkward night, Stacy learns that her vagina is actually a doorway to another world. She persuades Steve to climb inside of her to explore this strange new place. But once inside, Steve finds it difficult to return, especially once he meets an oddly attractive woman named Fig, who lives within the lonely, haunted world between Stacy's legs.
Wow.
It's like,
That reminds me of that Avenged Sevenfold video where the dead are having sex with each other. You seen that video? The
no,
cartoon one?
I've not really watched any of their videos. I like them all right. I got into them because of the Nightmare record. It's when I was in college and getting high with my friends.
Me and my wife went to their concert this summer. It was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I seen them once at Rock. I guess it's Sonic Temple now in Columbus, but was Rock on the Range.
Mhm.
And it was funny because like I was really paranoid about losing my my hat because it's like the first hat I had with my deployment unit like pin in the bill.
Okay.
So it's like sentimental. And then we're like in this mosh here, and I'm like, oh fuck! So I'm wearing a jacket, and I like stuff my hat in my coat to make sure I don't lose it, and I'm just one arm moshing like. It's very strange.
I see. I don't even pay attention to this Ripaverse goalpost guy. Damn, he
Uh-huh.
likes to retweet a lot of my bullshit, doesn't he?
Right, he's doing intensive research. It's
Wow.
funny. Sorry, I didn't even realize that was still up. So sorry for that distraction. Chat. All right. Melissa Baker says, howdy, howdy. My sketchbook 340. What's up, y'all? Just tracting as normal, of course. Yeah, having alts is necessary, says Melissa. Keely says he discovered everybody back in 2018. Odin. Oh, he's like the worst. He's such a
He's
fluffer.
he's the worst. He has no personality. He's you know who I feel bad for on that show though is comics. Because Gary started that show with comics and now he's on the third row and they don't even listen to his opinion on shit.
Huh.
But he has nothing to offer. Every time they come to me, he just repeats what they've already said. It's like, all right, dude, we get it. I know why Gary moved you down to the third row.
Yeah, it's funny because they're all D-listers to me. I just figured it out for a while. I'm like, they're all kind of circle jerking. They don't really say anything.
Hey,
And it's funny.
Do you think that Ryan is actually a smart guy? Though I think he is. I think Ryan's a smart guy. Cannell.
I think he's a smart YouTuber.
Well, well, he's a nuclear guy from the Navy, right? I mean, the guy's a smart guy. You don't get into the nuclear program because you're a complete idiot. And I think I think he does a lot of research for when he makes his videos, but his videos are so short and ridiculous. It's like, do I really believe he put any research? The only time that really comes to fruition is on Friday Night Tights when they actually let him talk for more than 2 minutes. That's what I think.
Well, even with the nuclear thing, I don't think he's a smart guy. Like it takes a competency, but you're talking about like a practical skill versus like we're talking about art on YouTube, and you see like how he sells himself talking about art, even if he has more complex takes in a stream, whatever. Guard down.
But they overplay that racist bullshit too much too.
I don't mind. Like I love racist humor. I don't care if they're actually racist. That's totally fine. Me, like I love that stuff. I'm mixed. So I've always enjoyed.
They play him up as the only racist on the show.
Oh yeah.
He's our house, but he's also their diversity, equity, and inclusion officer too. That's kind of funny that they say that, but
yeah, there's humor there. But yeah, it's become way too much of a circle jerk, especially having that ass face. I've always hated that guy. Rookie can attest. I've always been ahead of the curve of hating these people. I'm like, the first one that stuck out to me was Doomcock. I'm like, I think this dude's a fraud. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, all right, so you hate a thing. It's woke. Season 1. So you go complain about it till the next season. Totally justified. And then the next season, they have the same or worse levels of your perceived wokeness. And it's like, well, that should tell you to stop watching. You give up hope. This is a dead franchise. And then it's like, oh, look who's making content for season 3. Because he needs something to talk about. Because it doesn't sell to be like, I really like old Star Trek. It doesn't sell unless you're already established. And that was like my first real inkling. Like, I think these guys are kind of all phonies. And so I've been way ahead. Never liked never watched his shit. I definitely caught on to him early. I'm like, nope. So I've been lucky. I've not wasted a lot of time on a lot of these people.
I've never watched a comics division stream. I've watched more fucking Ryan Cannell since somebody asked me to do the same thing with Ryan Cannell that I'm doing with Yellow Flash on X. So I'm watching that. I never watch a Geeks and Gamers stream. I could care less about Jeremy Griggs. That guy, all he is about is the money. Jeremy is about the money.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Eric July. I think that to me, Eric July is the guy that just found a group that he could get in with and changed changed his ways. I mean, you've seen the stuff that Ethan posts of him dancing like a maniac and making rap videos, right? It's awful. And now now he's the next Black Stan Lee. Come on, it's bad. So
maybe like the next disabled Black Stan Lee, mentally disabled.
what's Rook doing? Did he go to the bathroom or something? He's been muted for a while.
I
He just
didn't know
does
I
it.
was muted. I was commenting here and there, but I wasn't saying anything too much. So I was like,
Rick is just
oh.
like, yeah,
I'm like-
wow, I agree.
I
and
was
it's like,
saying a
we're
few things
ignoring
here.
you.
I was saying a few
like-
things here and there, but nothing too much anyway. And I was like, okay,
I'm
well,
like,
that's cool.
I'm talking too much as a guest. This is awful.
No,
You're good.
Let me see. We got Ghost of the Most as Critical Drinkers at MegaCon selling his books at the Ripaverse booth. Yeah. It's funny.
And to me that's weird because Critical Drinker's written 9 novels. Why does MegaCon not just give him a free table?
Not worth it. They have
But
Tom Hiddleston there. I don't think they really give a shit about the Critical Drinker. Like he's really something on YouTube for any of us little people. Not me. I don't like him, but it's like, oh wow, a million subs, like that carries weight. But what's a million subs to people that work at Marvel and Disney and whatnot?
I was talking to somebody on X tonight, and he wrote a great piece on Reddit. It's an 8-page summary about why indie is where it is, right? And I read it, and my response, Eric July makes these videos. He's the CEO of the biggest money-making indie comic, right now, and he's out there making videos about how bad Marvel is. And I said, could you imagine if the head of Warner Brothers was out there making videos about how he could fix the Disney problem? The media would go out of their fucking mind. They would lose it, right? That would be a big story that the head of Warner is saying how he could do better over at Disney. Eric July, nobody cares. Nobody cares what he has to say. That's how little he means to anybody in mainstream comics. He's nothing. Nobody thinks about him.
I agree.
He's nobody. Only people that care about Eric are his cuck fans.
Yeah, I agree. Keely Chow, Tom Connors on Minute's Edge and After Dark's all right. Yeah, Tom's fine. He's way too stuck in the 80s crap for me, where he can't just handle mostly I know this vicariously through Rookie being on the Physical Media Show, but he's really stuck with like, you can't not like Gremlins. What do you mean? Like one of those types. And
Yeah,
it's
but he can hold his own in an argument. He was fighting back with me back and forth pretty good, so that was good.
But he does
Sci-fi
get
for
whiny. He does get whiny sometimes, and it's a little. It turns me off a little bit. But he's like the smartest guy on Flashcast, that's for sure.
Yeah. Let me see. Caitlin Shelley says, "Hi, Dad," to BTM.
Well, yeah, not to me, of course, because I don't have kids.
Oh, that's actually funny, man. You missed that'd been a funny opportunity to like play off of Dave, however he reacted. If you're like, "Hello, Caitlin, daughter," like, it's like, I told you not outside. Or something.
I would ask, where's the child support been? God damn it. Rook, I will find you.
My Subway income might not cover it.
Oh, they'll take it. They'll take it, and you can find more.
You can live in a box for all I care. Pay your child support.
Bad Take says, until I read the book review, I didn't know there was such a thing as the bizarro fiction genre. Talking about the haunted vagina. Well, says, I hope Caitlin's old enough to be hearing this. Dave doesn't seem to have a problem. Little Piece of Heaven by Avenged Sevenfold. And you're 24. 24 is too old for me. R. Kelly. I expect that from like Azatroth, not from Keely. That's hilarious.
Nice one, Keely.
Keely, who are you going for in the Super Bowl? Are you predisposed to the Chiefs and the Niners? And that goes for you too, Dave. Who are you going
anybody
for?
but Patrick Mahomes, man. I am tired
Really?
about that guy. Yeah.
I'm just tired of this, like, I'm a Philly guy. I'm not from Philly, but that's my team. So my team since I was like 12. So yeah, like 20 years actually. And so like reaching and I'm from Oklahoma too, so I chose my team. No one influenced me. So I chose the, like, lovable losers. And
I'm from Arkansas and I'm a Lions fan. Do that, man.
oh, okay. So yeah, you get it. And then we win the Super Bowl with a backup. Oh my god, that was amazing. I bawled when we won just because of, like, I've been here this whole time. And we finally do it in the most unlikely way against the evil empire, And then Reed winning Super Bowls with the Chiefs, even though he beat us. It was like, well, there's not a better guy to lose to, if I'm being honest. Besides
I
maybe
love
Bengals.
I love Andy Reid. I think he's great. But
I love Mahomes, actually. I love that style, but I'm just kind of tired of him because it's been too much. Like, Brady had 2 decades to be the guy he is,
Well,
They're just shoving it down our throats.
Mahomes just looks so miserable all the time now. Like, it's just like, God, nothing's going right. Everything's sad, But Kelsey saved that game for him last game. He made some catches that were out of this world. I was like, holy cow, man. But, I'm a Lions fan. We got to the championship. We're up 24 points and we lose, and I knew we would. I knew we would. We were not going to the Super Bowl. But it was a great year, so nobody cares about sports here.
Yeah, no. I always have to, like, try to get in, get out with my sports commentary. I'm really just a NFL guy. I don't really care about any other form of sports. I'm pretty much diehard football. Although I was watching a little basketball standing in line at the comedy show. And it's like, oh man, I miss watching basketball, but I really hate, like, the thug culture. You could say it's always been there, but it's, like, really taken over, in my opinion.
It's bad now. Are you talking NBA?
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
NCAA, doesn't matter.
I can't watch NBA. I used to be a big Pistons fan in the 90s, but now it's
Pistons, yeah.
It's hard to watch, but LeBron James ruined the NBA for me. I'm sorry.
I actually love LeBron as a player. Like, he's a guy, people bring up him and Michael. I'm like, well, how the fuck would I take Michael Jordan over LeBron? You see the body of work LeBron James can do versus Michael? There's no comparison. Like, he can play the whole court. Michael is like, he can play, to shooting forward, small forward. Just lack of range compared to LeBron's body. LeBron is a freak. Michael's amazing, but also he's on a stacked team, so, like, I don't really see the comparison. I think LeBron is pound for pound the better player.
That's the whole Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith argument, right? If Barry had Emmitt's line, he would have ran for 15,000 yards in 3 years, right? Because Emmitt, and I fully believe if Barry Sanders played for Dallas, he would have ran for 20,000 yards.
Yeah, it's like Emmitt Smith has the title with an asterisk to me. Not even because I'm a Philly guy, because my favorite quarterback, as far as, like, who would I pick all time, Tony Romo. I'm an objective fan. I'm an objective fan. Yeah, I love watching Romo.
I've watched a lot of but I love watching Matt Stafford play quarterback.
Oh, crap.
He threw up on that. And I'm a Lions fan, and I was so glad when he went to the Rams and won the Super Bowl. And I was super nervous when the Rams came to Detroit this year for that first game. I was like, oh no. But I wouldn't have been upset because I like Matt Stafford, and if you guys have you know who Colin Cowherd is, right?
Yeah.
So
Ricky doesn't, but I do.
Ricky's not a sports fan.
I mean, I used to watch the NBA also and stuff, but that was years ago.
So for years, Colin Cowherd, that idiot, said Matt Stafford will never win the Super Bowl because he wears his hat backwards on the sideline.
Well, that explains it.
That's how ridiculous it's not a leadership thing to wear your hat backwards. He goes to LA and he wins the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, okay, Colin, what are you going to say about that? But I was glad he won.
I was not. Bengals are my number 3 team, so fuck.
I love Joe
Stafford.
Burrow. I love Joe Burrow. I love that kid, and I just hope he can stay healthy because he's been injured a lot in college and now in the NFL. I hope he can keep keep it going because he's a good quarterback.
You don't know how happy I would have been if it was Eagles Bengals Super Bowl. If it's like,
Mm.
well, if I gotta lose, then I
You're
am
never
not upset to lose to the Bengals.
you're never going to win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts.
I don't know. I think we can.
He never won a championship at Alabama. He got benched. Tua won the championship for that team.
Well, Tua's not going to do anything, so.
I understand that, but Jalen.
No, I love Tua, but I think Jalen Smith has a way better head on his shoulders. So I have no doubt in him. Sometimes just luck of the draw, you know. Amazing year, and then just really the loss came down to that fumble.
Well, the last 5 games for the Phillies or the Eagles this year was really weird. Like they just kind of crumbled. It was weird.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta like take it on the chin, start over.
I like what Keeley says here. I like LeBron before he took his talents to South Beach. Yeah, when he was a Cavalier and he was going to make that city proud, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right, let me finish up with the chat, catching up. I got Henry's. Love this. He says, I can't stand racism almost as much as I can't stand Mexicans. It's a good one. Like, what's that guy?
I do have
Austin Powers.
I do have a tip. If you are Mexican, go to Wisconsin Dells, and they are hiring at all the resorts there because I was just at one this weekend, and the whole staff was Hispanic. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Hispanic staff, pretty good restaurant work. Bad Take says, I like when people have a healthy debate over entertainment reviews, and I really despise when folks insult you for being a fan and their minions attack you. Exactly. We got Kelly saying he's going for the Niners. Honestly, I hope Hamas visits the Super Bowl. I hope they both lose. Yeah.
It would be cool though if Mr. Irrelevant won the Super Bowl.
Mr. Irrelevant. Who's that?
That's the quarterback for the Niners. He was the last player taken in the draft.
Oh, okay, Purdy.
Yeah, they call that player Mr. Irrelevant. And that would be pretty awesome, right?
I guess. I mean, Marcus Colston won a Super Bowl, so he was pretty low.
But against the number 1 pick, Mahomes, and the last pick, that'd be pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I feel like Purdy's a guy that Andy Reid would draft if he was on the Niners. So,
well, I had no idea that the Chiefs' defense was as good as it is until I watched that last game of the year. They were talking about all their stats. I was like, oh my God, they're that good as a defense? Huh.
Yeah. What's up, Tevin Daniels? Good to see you in here. He says, my friend Etep is a Lions fan. Oh, that had to hurt. Especially, I feel like he's not like a diehard. I don't know, but I feel like he's not a diehard football guy because he's a wrestler. So I could assume he got like really hyped this year. Like, oh wow, we're really a failure. It was normal. He says Tony could have been the man had Jerry Jones done something with the O-line and defense earlier in his career. Yeah.
Agreed.
But anyway, got out of the chat for now. Appreciate all you thus far, but it's time, rookie. There's a little thing we do over here. We've been lax last.
Finally, I get to see a face.
Yeah, you see, this is my problem. Right before the stream, I went to like put my earphones on, and then it snapped. So I'm like holding on for dear life. I'm kind of like one side is what I'm mainly listening to.
I had to borrow my son's headphones because I don't have any wired headphones. I was like, oh my God, I can't hear these guys if I don't have headphones. So I had to run upstairs and borrow his Xbox headphones.
Yeah.
Does Rookie show himself?
Oh yeah, well, in just a moment here.
Or is he yellow? Or is he a fag like Yellow Flash?
At least seems funny to me.
Yes.
Yes, either way.
It's funny too because like I'm bi, so it's like, oh wow, an actual F slur calling you an F slur. That's how bad it is.
Hey, fag meant a different thing when I grew up. You're acting like a fag. Is this like you're acting stupid? It doesn't mean you're acting gay. You're acting stupid. And gay was like just a thing. Like, who cares? Now it's a whole movement. Good Lord.
Yeah, no, I
like
agree.
I like your toys behind your statues.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
Those
I've been
are
getting
awesome.
more compliments lately on them. Yeah, Purgatory. So I'm not like a deep comic guy. We'll get into this more soon, but
Thank you. I'm not either.
I'm
I
not. Yeah,
like it.
I didn't grow up with this. It was because I mean I grew up with like the Batman the animated series and X-Men as a kid and like the old Spider-Man from the 80s, but I had no idea what a comic store was until I became an adult and came back from deployment. I actually started playing Magic, and that's what got me
What
into comics was because
what
the
branch were
store
you
sold
in?
them. I was Army.
Okay, I was Navy.
I'm sorry. I would have went Navy if I could swim because I always wanted to be a submariner. I was a
Yeah,
big U571 fan, K19. Didn't really watch Das Boot, but I'll watch it soon. I own it, so yes, it's
I
so
have a
cool
lot
to
of
me.
stuff. I have a lot of stuff I own I haven't got to yet because Ethan is streaming every night. And I can't watch shit with this guy streaming.
I know it's so good, you can't miss it. But before we continue, there's a little thing we do over here called the Horn of Ceremony.
The Horn of Ceremony.
And if you have a drink handy, doesn't have to be alcoholic, you raise a toast to the chat and thus imbibe.
You're not an
This
alcoholic.
concludes the Horn of Ceremony.
And they're on camera on. Late horn of ceremony.
The late horn. Well, Rookie actually sent me a second horn because I had to buy this replacement horn because he sent me a real one from like some
Nice.
Viking store. And at first I was like, why the hell would he send me Viking shit? I've been to like Greeks and Romans mostly. I'm like, oh, I'm a cow. Okay, Angus. Yeah, okay, now I get it. And but I warped it because I used it too much. And
Hey,
so I got
Rookie.
this glass one.
Rookie, are you a director?
You could say so. Not an official feature film director, but yeah, I've directed some stuff.
That's fine.
My own short
Hey,
films. Very awful so far, but
Gay
I'm working on
pornos.
it. Each one gets me better. So
I
that's
should have.
like-
I wish I would have thought of this in your hat. I mean, like, oh yeah, you'll be hanging out with me, like Angus, blah blah blah, commentary, and the Rookie Critic, famous amateur homosexual pornographer. You don't like that, Rookie?
if I had, well, just pornographer in general. Who knows? Depends if it's high quality.
Who
Depends
needs
if
to be
it's
a
high
rookie?
quality.
Who
If
needs
it's,
to be
if
a
it's just if it's just lame and raw, no.
Who needs to be a
gotta
rookie?
have good
There's no
edits.
such thing as a rookie pornographer. You either are or you aren't, right?
Yeah, I suppose that's a good point.
Yeah, but this is what I would tell you to find, Rookie. This right here, of course, full. You need it full.
The root beer?
Red stuff. It's not
No,
root
it's
beer.
cream soda. Mm.
Red cream soda. It's what I was telling you. It's really hard to find.
I know
It's,
the brand. I've seen the brand.
Yeah. You probably have it in your dispenser at Subway, but
Yeah.
you don't have red cream soda. This is one of the most like precious sodas you'll find in the world.
Yeah, I haven't had red cream.
It's a soda where I'm
Rookie.
like, I want to drink, and then I'm like, actually, I'm just gonna have the.
I would
soda.
recommend this bourbon if you want to get over the cream soda shit because
Okay,
this is half the calories and more taste.
not bad. Yeah, I just had my birthday recently, and I only drink on my birthdays pretty much. And I had an R&R. It's a rich and what was it a rich and something? I forget what it even is now. It's like some type of Canadian whiskey.
Richer and poorer.
No, it was an R&R, like so a rich and something, a rich and
Did you-
rare.
Did you like it?
I mean, it tasted like a Fireball without the flavor.
I
If
hate
that makes
Canadian-
sense.
I hate Canadian whiskey. It's so harsh. It like burns going down every
Yeah, it's
inch
great.
of your throat. No, it's not. This has no burn. I gave my wife a taste tonight, and she's like, she doesn't like bourbon because it burns too much going down. She's like, wow, that has no burn, and it's at like a 50% alcohol level. So we can get on the whole bourbon topic. I started my whole channel with bourbon reviews, but they were
Okay.
going nowhere. But that's okay because I don't do this I just do it because I like to get on camera and talk, right? One thing I'll give Gary credit for is start a channel. He says that all the time, right? Just start a channel.
Yeah.
No matter what, just start a channel. Whatever you want to talk about, just you need new headphones, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working through it. It's favoring one side where it's like this is mostly holding on. So this is like my Basset Hound ear.
What do you do for a living, Angus?
I work in a factory.
Okay. And Rook?
I work at Subway.
Does it pay the bills?
Yeah, it pays them enough.
That's it. It's like, hey man, you work for what you can do, right? As long as you're gonna try and do other stuff, right?
That's the idea. That's what YouTube's for now, to try to branch out into the skills that I'm trying to learn.
I was gonna say, yeah, what I was saying about my background right here is like I didn't grow up with comics, but as a retroactively from shows and movies, I'm like, oh well, I know these are comic characters. Like my first dawning, I guess, was Avengers, where I'm like, oh, all these are together. Okay. And it still didn't quite click that this is like a series from print, but it's cool to see them together. My first time in a comic store hunting on my own, though, try to find something unique, never heard of. Purgatory was the first thing I found because I used to be Catholic, so the name stuck out to me. And then I'm like, oh, hot devil vampire. This is right up my alley. And the rest is history. Fortunately, she doesn't have much printing until now with Dynamite, which, yeah, it's trash. Let me see. Yeah, he says Batman anime series, Spider-Man, X-Men on Fox. Exactly. Yay for faces, says Melissa.
Don't you think it's funny that Disney's falling back on their Fox characters to save Disney?
I mean, I think it was always part of the plan to bring that franchise or those two franchises in. I just don't think they expected to have to rely on them. I think they've kind of looked into the timing to bring them in to save face.
Do you think lucked, or do they just like failed so hard that they have to bring them in because they're desperate to find some relevance with their base? At the end of the day, we just want to see good movies, right? And if they bring in these Fox characters and they make bad movies, it's going to ruin them too. And that's where everybody gets scared. Like, come on, guys, just make something good.
Yeah, well, like the reason I say like they've looked into it timing wise is like this was always going to be a thing. They didn't spend $71 billion on Fox to like not make these properties. I think partially it was just to kill the competition, but
they spent $71 billion for The Simpsons. The Simpsons. Yeah. That's their. I mean, it's rerun on every network across the country every day.
I mean, I see that value to a degree, like The Office and Friends single-handedly legitimize Peacock being a thing.
I hate all the streaming. I hate it. I just wish that we were back to network TV because there's too much shit. I get on Netflix and I go through the thing for like 2 hours and go, oh, I'm going to bed now. I didn't watch a thing.
Well, and there's nothing to like go on that plays while you continue to browse or something. There's no continuation. Right. That's the thing that I kind of like with TV a little bit is that you can scroll and be in the middle of something. And even if you don't know what it is, it might catch your attention because you're in the middle of a scene and go, what is this? I got to see this. Yeah. And then, but with all these streaming ones, you start at the beginning each time and have to kind of commit to, am I going to watch this and not touch the remote for a bit? Or am I going to start it and then be bored after 10 minutes and change it and have to look again or something?
Do you guys ever watch Disparu?
No.
He's on like Mahler's show sometimes and Drinkers sometimes, but I don't like watch his stuff specifically.
He does bring up a good point. Like he doesn't watch like Western product. He watches Korean or Japanese, and I have fallen into that world. Man, those Koreans, they make some really good product. And I'm not saying woke or not woke. It's just really like engaging stuff, and you're like, wow, this is great. And even my wife is like, holy crap, this is really good. So it's some of these guys, like, Disparu, he'll review like Robin in the Hood for the clicks, but he's not watching it. And I wish he would actually review stuff he likes to get people more on board with stuff that's positive. I hate all negativity all the time.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's
having a mix at least.
That's what ruined me on,
balance it.
like, after the High Council, when you're sticking to just watching those channels, especially like Geeks and Gamers, because they were kind of taking over this sphere's algorithm at the time. And it's just at some point, it was, I went to go see the movie Crawl that Sam Raimi produced, the Gators.
Crawl?
Yeah, Crawl.
Okay.
It's a gator movie. It's a gator creature horror where you're following a swimmer from University of Florida. She has to, like, I guess, try to retrieve her dad before the floods from the hurricane.
Right.
And they get stuck in the hurricane, and it's gator infested because there's actually like a nest or something that has permeated that region. And so there's a lot of silly stuff, get them stuck in situations to get attacked. But like I remember I was like, was this woke? So I explained like the whole plot to Rookie in pertinent detail to get to the point where it's like, well, like this sheriff that got his arm bit off is saved by his daughter, and then she's the one that flags down the chopper, towering over him with a hand raised of like victory, you could say. And I'm like, this feels kind of feminist coded, but it was a good movie. And I'm like, is this woke? And he's like, I don't think so, man. And I'm like, right, I think this shit's ruining my brain. And so now, like, I actually understand, because I've been there. I understand what, like, the idiots on Twitter that follow these people that are influenced by them, they'll be rabid about Barbie or something. I'm like, how do you actually watch the movie? Because I think you might find it entertaining.
I laughed my ass off at
It's so great.
Ryan Gosling. He was great. He
Well,
was fantastic.
It's not even just him. It's the window into women's minds. Like, I like watching Red Pill stuff. I have for a few years. Not for the reason most people get into it, but Comics Explained, his side channel, is actually what got me into Red Pill commentary. Because he's talking about Frame on a video, and he mentioned Roll Tomasi.
Rook is an avatar again. What's he
doing?
I
don't know.
What are you hiding?
Yeah, I'll be back on in a moment here.
He's probably masticating,
kind of going in and out of the room. So I'm listening on YouTube and then coming back in here real quick.
But yeah, it's funny because Barbie really showcases women's mind, I think, subconsciously. Like, their fantasy is silly. Like, a boy, you might have to condense it, but a boy, it's 5, or an old man, it's 90. You can give them a Predator scenario or Die Hard, and they're like, yeah, that's awesome. I want to be John McClane or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or they might even want to be the Monster. The Monster has its own challenge, There's an uphill battle for the male fantasy. It's not just that the muscular macho commando gets all these women. It's that the muscular macho commando guy is Conan, who has all these battles to win the harem of women, and then he has threats to protect his harem of women from people that want his harem. So it's like, there's always a challenge. This is implicit in male fantasy. We don't just want to win from the get-go. But like, Barbie is kind of the princess fairy tale where it's like, I'm so pretty and everyone likes me, and that's it, and it's great. That's my life. And it's just funny because it's like, I've never really analyzed Barbie and the Tea Party and all this kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, girls just, it seems like a subconscious female thing where it's like, I win and I'm pretty and everyone loves me. And it's like, oh, that sounds like hell. They're like, what's the challenge?
My day is great, and I had breakfast and it was all good, and then I had dinner, and then I went to sleep, and now I woke up, and now I do it again.
Yeah, it's like, it was so brilliant on that level, on accident. I think it's accidentally brilliant. Ryan Gosling's whole part. My whole thing with Ryan Gosling's part being like academic is when I was in the army, it was like kind of a precursor change to like the Trump Hillary and divide of America. I had a male feminist roommate in medic school, and I would hear him and his girlfriend talking about feminism all the time on the phone calls. I'm just like, what the fuck? Why would a guy care about feminism? This is so gay. It just never read right to me. And retroactively, I'm like, yeah, I was spot on. Why would a guy care about feminism? And
We don't.
well, yeah, we shouldn't.
And neither should women.
Right. But the way they would lie to you, at least back then, was feminism's for men too. It's about being egalitarian, which I'm like, that always read wrong to me. So I'm like, well, there's a word for that. It's called egalitarianism. Feminism is its own identity. It's its own, it's female supremacy. Why is fem at the front if it's for everybody? You know, it's very simple read that they do a lot of nuance talking around to trick you. But because of that cell in the back of my head, I was like, wow, is Barbie trying to like actually do that egalitarian angle of feminism? Like, we've overlooked men's plight. And then you see Greta Gerwig, the director, like hate what Ryan Gosling's meme of Ken has become on the internet, how it's like another symbol of like the incel bros on the internet.
Yeah,
He clung to his identity.
She says you guys like it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I think she just accidentally made something brilliant. Given what her intent was, it was accidental brilliance. And
Did you like the end? Did you like the ending though?
Oh, the gynecologist.
Yeah, I hated it. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that.
It definitely threw me for a loop. But I watched Grace Randolph's review, Beyond the Trailer.
Oh my god!
And she pointed out like this is her fully embracing womanhood. I'm like, oh, okay. I never thought of it that way. So like some things are like gender specific, you know, or it's like girls will watch something and not get why guys like it. And that part I'm like, oh, okay, I can appreciate that.
Are you or Rook married?
I was.
I am not.
Did they need a gynecologist to confirm them as a woman?
Well, the difference is Barbie has now taken on from Fantasyland.
Barbie entered the real world by her own discretion. She wanted to go to the real world.
Yeah.
And ending it on the gynecologist was like, nah, you should have went back to like smacking a dude at the beach and slapped your ass. Because that's where we're at today, right? I hated that ending because I liked so much of that movie. I loved I love that chat.
Oh, he also does one that you might like. He goes, so
the ending was like, I looked up, I said, we were watching it together in our basement. I was like, what why? They didn't have to do that. They could have.
I mean, if anything, it could just be them going, "Hey, we think that gender is binary. Suck it."
That's the other thing.
Who knows?
Barbie is so brilliant because they literally cast
just male and female. That's it. Just male
they literally
and female.
cast a trans woman to play a Barbie, and they still made the whole. You have Daily Wire trying to be right wing entertainment, and then you see Barbie from woke Hollywood with purposely woke director, and they made like one of the most binary films of the 21st century. Also having a trans actress, and they still played it male female the whole time.
If you guys have watched any of Az's streams, he actually gave Barbie props for that. But he said that the director accidentally made a movie that men could like, which, and I kind of agree. I mean, yeah. I enjoyed the movie, but the ending, and I hated the fucking beginning where we're all smashing on the dolls. That was like
Yeah, that was
weird.
probably
Oh, that
the
was definitely
that's probably
like
the
an
worst part.
abortion allegory or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
there.
that was
I
terrible.
saw through that.
We don't need to be mommy. Screw that.
Yeah,
It wasn't just like, oh, I don't like dolls, but it's like the smashing with the context of what's narrated. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is like some weird abortion or
A- a-
feminism narrative. I'm like,
but the director was so like you said earlier, accidentally she made a movie that men would like if they actually would watch it. When the women fall into Ken's idea of a Barbie world so quickly, it was amazing. It was like, holy crap. They all love
Well,
being
peace in the Middle East.
yeah.
Just put a
it was-
book on.
Yeah. But then Barbie comes back and fucks it all up. Thank you so much, Barbie. You're the queen of our world. And they were all so happy. They were happy.
That's the other thing that's brilliant on Accident is, Ken World happens, all peace among men, and then the girls come. They're all trying to get their respective Barbies for the respective Kens, and they're all playing Matchbox 20 on the beach, and then they manipulate all these guys. It's like, wow, way to prove that women are the root of evil. Way to
Like
kind
you're-
of justify the Eve narrative.
They caused a
of
war.
Judeo-Christianity.
You mean like
Caused a war.
just like your Hana Vagina book.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm an atheist, but I find more and more value in the Bible the older I get, as far as just like literary, and especially the Old Testament. It's such a red pill masculine book, like God as a character. His frame, there's no wishy-washy. Like the New Testament is very beta to me. It's very like hippie, like, well, yeah, I'm God and I told you all this stuff, but whatever, man, just like eat what you want, just like love your enemy. It's so wishy-washy compared to the God of the Old Testament. It's like, do this or I will ass rape you via Egypt
And
or
Rook's on the
Babylon
West-
or Persia or Greece
Rook's
or
on-
Rome.
Rookie's on the West Coast, so he's never heard of the Bible. So
Well,
You're
that
pretty
is funny.
accurate-ish.
That is funny. We haven't done this in a while, but I bought him the Action Bible. I saw it at Hobby Lobby. It's a Bible comic book, and so we've made our way. We're about halfway through Genesis, I think. We're up to the Tower of Babel. Actually, we're only like a fifth of the way through Genesis, but I don't know how much this Bible will cover, because like they do the flood and then the ship lands, and then we cut to Babel, and I had to inform him about Ham looking on his father's nakedness and
you had to
all the
inform him that-
interpretations.
you had to inform him about Adam and Eve were a thing, right?
Though we got that, yeah, they definitely showed that.
So
But no, it's like with Eve, and man's nature, man's role, being head of household. Calamity comes upon Adam for acting womanly. For he plays the blame game just like Eve. So he doesn't have like a backbone as a man should. There's so many narratives in the Old Testament, whether it's literal like storytelling or the mysticism of like the creation story, or the sexual allegory like Song of Songs, where God's talking about using like a hetero relationship to explain his role with his people. There's so much in the Old Testament that I don't believe this book, but I find more and more value for
it's funny. It's funny how atheists think they don't like religion until they.
Religion's so fascinating.
Until they get older and older, it's like, wait a minute. I watch like a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with the world of comics, right? It's like, we just talk about that while we're here, but where we came from is amazing. Do you guys believe in evolution?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah.
How about you, Rook?
Yep.
So do you think if evolution is real, why aren't more creatures turning into something else as we've been around a long time? Is it? Evolution's done?
No, it's never stopping. For instance, we used to be a lot hairier, and we're becoming a hairless creature. We may go bald completely at some point. Also,
hey.
there is the concern when you throw in artificial stuff like our technology, that's also influencing it. Like we've lost jaw strength because we've become a cooking species, so we've made our food a lot more malleable. We're influencing our bacterial biome in our bodies with the way we eat food, especially across the West. We've kind of weakened ourselves, but then there's
Yeah,
the advantage of prosperity.
We're fat fucks
Uh,
across the West.
what do you call it? I want to say agriculture is where blonde and blue eyes comes from. It's an
Well,
adaptation.
I live in the middle of the Midwest, and I have cornfields surrounding my property, and it's all for fucking pigs or cows. It's not for human consumption, right?
Right.
And then they sell us the pork and the beef or the chicken that is
Corn fed.
corn fed but filled with steroids so they can get bigger and they can get more product out of what they're growing. And it's like, man, you're probably right, Black Angus, that evolution is a thing. I wonder, like, why are we?
I'll give you a better example because you mentioned like things being different. So well, I guess there's three. I'll try to make them all quick and concise, put them together. So first off, there's a great example I learned in a biology class. There is a lizard, and they got all these subspecies called the anole, and there are a lot of them in like Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Cuba, whatever. And so this is they got like 4 subvariants across all the islands. They got 4 subvariants of like tree top, mid tree, tree bark, and then ground. All right. So the idea was that across all the islands, each level would be more related to each other than up and down on the same island. That the ground anole of Cuba and the tree anole of Cuba would be less related versus the 2 treetops across islands. And what they figured out is genetically, they're all more related per island than across for the same type, meaning that more than likely, hurricane happens or something, there's like debris that they're floating on, land on a new island, and then the subvariants come from evolution. And they started seeing it pretty quick because luckily lizards don't live long, and so you can like see changes quicker. And so they dropped like a trianole on like an almost barren island with like no shrubbery or anything, and they started seeing its offspring already like adapting to that environment. Probably because like they have a variation of color, and then their less camouflage ones are being killed. So this is going to influence the phenotypes genetically. So that's one example. Another one is us and other apes. Our lice, both like crabs and head lice, they have a strange relation to the gorillas and chimpanzees. Lice are very host specific. So it's like you can get like a cow or sheep, whatever species, if you like get in their nesting area, they're sleeping, they're bedding, you can get bit by their lice, whatever, but you're not going to get infected by like cow lice. They're not suited to us. We have our own lice. What's weird is we have 2 different ones. I want to say it's our like head lice is related to gorilla lice, like very much. And then the pubic lice is very much related to the what do you call it? The chimpanzee lice. I might have the 2 flipped, but either way, there's like one is specific to the other, but we have both of them. And so this is like a 10-year study from University of Florida, and the consensus.
They got to be right wing. They got to be right wing. They're from Florida. Right wing. Oh
no. The consensus was that like either our ancestors were so related, we were all fucking, and then we speciated, or we were at least all like cohabitating, that we had our ancestors had like a cohabitation of some kind. Maybe we're kind of herding together. We were all similar enough before speciation. But or most likely at the pubic lice, our ancestors were boinking their ancestors and contracted it, and it just permeated our species still.
What do you think, Rookie?
Oh, what's
He's
this
so-
one specifically?
in general, like
In general, I mean, yeah, I'd say that there's still evolution. I mean, I don't think that it's going to happen so quickly that we'll just notice it like before our eyes, like how people talk about global warming all the time. Like it's things that pass in a slower amount of time that goes through. I mean, there's evolution, like he just said, that take place within our time, sure, that are that noticeable. But if you're talking about like a major deviation in something, like a major one, like I don't know, that probably takes quite a long time. But I feel
Yeah,
like
like-
but I feel like at the same time, there's been different alterations to animals that already have existed alongside mankind with how we've shaped the world, kind of.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
dogs are a great example of our like purposeful intrusion, artificial evolution, you could say, purposely cordoning different breeds and then honing them in for a specific thing. Just temperament wise, lions and tigers. I mean, they've speciated so far they can't effectively breed, but they have a different temperament that you only get them breeding in zoos because their temperament is different. So they're related enough to actually copulate in the wild, but they're never going to cross because their temperaments. One is social, one is antisocial and solitary. But yeah, so you get stuff like that with
like
the
an
great-
SJW and a far right guy, right?
kind of, yeah. Over time, if we maintain these, you see it with races. Like we're all related. We can all interbreed, but we have very specific breeds, if you will, of people, like dogs, where a Chinese person is very distinct from a Nordic person or an African or a Arabic person, Aborigine in Africa or Australia. So yeah, you just there's so much. I think people get really stuck when they see like a quick chart of like the tree of life where it's like a bacteria, and then you get whales and jellyfish and crabs and humans, and it all is rooted in that single cell bacteria. One of the things that really kind of like solidified evolution for me was something that wasn't necessarily an evolutionary study. It's called the Urey Miller experiment. It was this, I think, chemist and his assistant. They took what was at the time the thought main elements on Earth, and they essentially put so much into like a chemistry set, and they kept circulating it, cooking it, and cooling it. And they just left it for like a week or two. When they came back, they found lipids. Now, lipids, like fat, is the building block of cells. It's like the first thing. You need that before you can make anything more complex. And so, and they've replicated this with the more precise findings we've figured out of like core samples of like, well, this was actually the makeup of Earth at this time, the main elements in the atmosphere. Pretty much evolution is just chemistry over time.
It's do you guys watch the Y-Files?
The what?
The Y-Files.
No.
What's that?
Check it out on YouTube. It's fantastic. And his last episode was actually about where we started. And it's all about, like you're talking about, the stew that created the world. Was it from meteors or was it from an ancient alien race that shot
Panspermia?
Yeah. Panspermia. And he is great. And he's got Hecklefish, which is his little goldfish in a bowl that's a character. And
oh no, he's Doomcock.
no. He's not. I've never watched a Doomcock video, but this guy from the Y-Files, if you guys check him out, you'll love him. He's actually fantastic. And after every episode, he does like a 2 or 3 hour show to actually talk to his viewers and kind of answer questions about what the show was about. It's really good.
Yeah, I just subbed. I'm going to check them out. Although I see a lot of alien stuff, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, like I was one of the ones that
but-
like,
but-
oh yeah, Ancient Aliens,
No, no.
awesome. But then like I
Okay,
watch other
no,
stuff
but-
too, and I'm kind of like, well, they do kind of bullshit a lot of things on that show.
No, but
to
here's
make it-
here's his thing. He goes, look, this you're getting the build up of how. Oh my God, he's so right. And he goes, but let me tell you the different side of the story. And then, you know, Hacklefish is like, oh no, you're wrong. This can't be right. So he's not a debunker, but he brings both sides to the story fair and even.
Yeah,
And,
no. That didn't shut him off to me. I was joking when I assume he's got layers to this. Now, I'm not someone that writes people off. I've written off like F&T people from years of watching them and kind of
Sure,
figuring out the game
right.
plan.
So was Doomcock and Gary were like friends in the
Oh boy,
They used to
wow.
have like a sci-fi show, kind of like what you're talking about aliens and stuff.
Yeah, I never
Perfect.
watched that stuff, but yeah, it was like Mecharandom and Doomcock and their drug. They were kind of their own clique when they came into our fold. And Doomcock get big with his Last Jedi review, and so I started watching him. But at some point, he started doing this whole my sources in Lucasfilm, and it's like he got uncovered by what do you call it? He got gay opt on I guess Reddit or 4chan or something. Star Trek SJWs essentially. They planted fake stories for them to cover. And Nerdrotic would always hold back on stuff. He wanted more confirmation. But Doomcock and I guess Mecharandum would just run with anything. And they even put like some code where it's like every letter of the first sentence or every first letter of each sentence was like, this is fake. So it was like a purposely coded fake leak or something, scoop. Doomcock ran with it and he got uncovered. And I think that's really the root on top of all this Lucasfilm fake shit that he kept saying. It's like Nerdrotic, for whatever, you know, phony pander he's made his channel with his little clique of F&T. He does have some journalistic integrity. And so I think he had to ice out Doomcock with all his fake shit. And so he kind of let Ryan Cannell do it by saying, if you believe Doomcock, you're fucking retarded. And that made everyone triggered for like a week. But that wrote him off. That was a way to kick him off.
So like the Forbidden Planet show with Adam, whatever his name is, and Quarter Black Garrett, is that going to turn to the same thing with Doomcock eventually one day, where Adam is going to go, hey, I heard this story, and Gary's going to go, whoa, I didn't hear that. You know, wait a minute, guys.
I have no idea about that.
So like, you know, I will say like, hi buddy. I will say that Gary is really good about developing relationships, right? He found, I mean, he's claimed he's always been a fan of Chris Gore from film. You know who Chris Gore is, right?
Yeah, I actually found him before he ever connected with them, so I was like, damn it!
But
I wish I thought
he's one of the old
hitting
G4
him up.
guys.
But I used to watch all his shows on G4 back in the day. So Chris Gore was funny as hell back then, right? But I had no idea he had the Film Thart website that was all indie movies. And that's kind of helped Gary get into the Hollywood scene. And next thing you know, he's fucking watching Picard season 3 before any of the rest of the world is. And he's giving positive reviews. And that's where people go, wait a minute, Gary, you got early access and now you like it. So I don't watch Picard. I never have. I'm a Star Trek guy from like the Shatner series and the Picard series. Yeah, and I have like Deep Space Nine that I haven't started yet, but I've heard it's good. Have you guys watched it?
I grew up with it as a kid, but it was, you know, a boring show for a child to. I'm not gonna watch. You know, I'm not gonna
I never got into it.
permeate this, but the Ferengies always stuck out because they got butt heads. You know.
Have you guys ever watched Farscape?
No.
I've heard the name, but I don't know any imagery of it. Let me look this up. Actually,
Okay, so Farscape is an Australian sci-fi show, and I had no idea what this show was. And the first couple episodes, I'm like, what is this? 5 seasons later, I'm like, please give me more. Give me more of this. And and what I love about the show is that the ship is like a creature. And when the creature is sick, the ship is sick,
Hmm.
and they go. It's really cool. And
Sounds like some Event Horizon kind of shit.
It's really cool. And Farscape is probably one of the. And I watched the whole entire series of Stargate, the original Stargate SG-1.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's. Do you like it, Rook?
Oh yeah,
It's
for the most part.
great.
There's some parts where it lags.
Ricky's
but
always trying to get me to
Yeah.
watch Stargate. I'm like, I like
But-
the movie. I'm just going to keep it at that.
No, you gotta. The show's better than the movie, 100%.
I love James Spader. So
But it's 23 season or 23 episodes a season. Back in the
God.
day, they actually worked. And like you said, Rook, there are episodes you're like, okay, but that's because it's 23 episodes long, right? You're like, okay, we can forgive it. Now, so like probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was really into Ozark. You guys watch Ozark? on
oh
Netflix?
yeah, me and Ricky are watching Breaking Bad right now.
Right.
And after that, I'm going to get and watch Ozark because what a great
So-
show. I tell
my-
people essentially it's more or less the origin of the Clintons.
But my problem with those shows is they're 8 episodes a season. So it holds your attention for 8 weeks. And then you go 50 weeks without even thinking about it. When network TV was the boss, there was 23 to 32 episodes a season. So you got a whole year from September to May of these shows, and then you got your 4-month layoff, and then they'd start up again, right? But now you lose interest because there's so much shit that comes up. You're like, what was it? What was I even watching? So you're almost better off waiting till they cancel Ozark and just sitting there and watching it for 2 weeks straight, because the show is great. Bateman's awesome. His wife is great. The whole show was really
Laura Linney.
good.
She's
Yeah.
aged quite well. I love her.
Yeah, the whole
I love me
show
some
was-
white women.
Yeah, but the whole show is great. But it's like it's only 8 episodes a season. It's really I kind of hate that about.
I actually love that because it's like concise. Take it in for a week or two, and then all right, now I can move on to the next thing.
But you forget. You forget.
That helps the rewatchability, actually. I think
You
because
do.
like yeah, I think it helps rewatchability. It's like, wait, what was going on? So let me rewatch the whole show to the new season.
Yeah,
I think
but
it might be kind of purposeful.
I'll be
no,
right back.
it's- Oh, he left us again. Right as I was asking a question. I don't know. I'm just used to, like, I watched, like, when I was a kid, there was a show called Chips, California Highway Patrol Service. It had
Yeah,
Erica,
I know
John
of it.
Baker. You know of it, right? Well, I grew up with it, and it was like 25 episodes a year. John and Ponch were out there saving the world, and do you ever watch the original Incredible Hulk on TV?
No.
Oh,
I know of it. I've seen,
But if you ever
some
buy the
imagery.
box set, it's a really good show. It's a guy trying to not be the beast, and he goes across the United States, going from town to town, taking jobs, and next thing you know, there's an issue, and he has to, be the Hulk.
intervene.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. But yeah. So hey, Black Angus, do you support any of these indie comic guys?
Oh, when I can, yeah. I have to be choosy because again, I'm trying to make my own comics. So when I back someone, I'm robbing myself a little more money in my pot to make my
What-
comic.
What are you working on?
Oh, I'm a Meth Gator guy.
I don't know it. I'm sorry. I don't
I
know
thought
what
I
that
saw you
means.
comment of like when
No.
would it fulfill?
No, when is it going to fulfill?
Well, the posters, it just has to process the money into my account, and then I ship it my first like off day.
You said 2 weeks, right? About 2
Yeah,
weeks.
it seems it takes the money to go in about 2 weeks.
But your book, when is that? What is that about?
Oh, it's Meth Gator. The posters are promo art to make.
Because your posters are
Gator.
your posters are awesome, dude.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah,
They're awesome.
It's just had a lot of life stuff happen that's kept me from being able to save towards that. I got a nice pod, but I feel like I probably need at least a couple more grand to secure an artist. So I want to have like at least like a quarter of the pencils done, because I got covers. I mean, the posters were kind of like trial and error and helping me develop and also have a range. The whole idea behind the posters was I don't have money for like an artist for a book. I make promo art, people can buy it, and
you're gonna write it.
Yeah, I'm the writer.
What's the story? What's the story?
The story is essentially TMNT meets Breaking Bad. So the origin,
man,
the origin came from a post. This guy used to be cool with Red Gaze. He's Comicscape. I don't know what's happened to him this last couple of years. He did a video on his channel covering this news hysteria that was going on for like a week of Tennessee cops put out a social media post. Don't flush your meth, you'll make meth gators. And I instantly had an image. Essentially, I had like the image, like the red background poster, the swamp. I had that like look of like a killer croc looking creature, but I couldn't figure out the science of like, well, if he has like the, whoops, a marvel happening, it turns him from a gator hatchling to a anthropomorphic alligator man. Well, if like meth had spilled it on him because it's like a special blend of meth that they're unaware of, why aren't they turning themselves? And so I was really stuck with science, and I like researching science. So I was going to go into like the FOXP2 gene, which is like for mice or rats, it's like part of like their like mapping memory, but for us it's our speech gene. And then in like the apes it does something else. So it's like a very weird, like all these animals have the FOXP2 gene, but it does different things in different animals. And so I was going to go down that alley, and I'm like, oh my God, how long is it going to take me to research this to make a plausible science? And I'm like, wait. Let me just make it more simple. And so essentially I got some like, wacky sci-fi element of like, well, what they're doing to manipulate this methamphetamine, it doesn't affect humans, but they haven't figured that out yet. So that's my simple science. But I got like
that's a Stan Lee thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's simple. Just get me
right.
into the book. Get me into the book. Right.
Yeah. I just need a simple. Yeah. I kind of took a step back. I'm like, I don't think I need to focus this much on the science of the interworkings of this, fictional meth. And so once I figured out a simple science of why the meth heads aren't turning, that made it so much easier. And then I realized I got a much bigger story to tell that can go all sorts of places. Now, my problem is it's hard to be imaginative. Like I'm really good. You can ask Rookie with like his ideas. I'm really good as like an editor or producer. I'm really good at like tweaking things or making it more concise plot wise. But it's hard to like just be completely creative on your own. Because like I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not left brain, like leftist, but I'm not right brain. So like I have like some wiggle room in the middle of like I'm kind of practical because I work in factories, but clearly I like talking abstract art, and so I don't get along really with any of the knuckle draggers that work in factories. Because like they'll be like, oh, did you see that movie? And I'm like, yeah. And then like I get hooked wanting to talk about it, and then like I'll be like, this is like the themes and the subtext, and they're just like, yeah, that was cool when he like shot a laser. And I'm like, okay. So I always put my foot in my mouth with like critic mode of the art of the film. They don't care. It looked cool. That was cool. Very simplistic. So
it's like Last Action Hero from Arnold, right?
Yeah. I never find my people. So that's what's great about YouTube is I can have these conversations of in-depth kind of discussion.
Hey, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're fine. We got some more people in the chat. So we say,
right.
Hey.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. Melissa said she hates short seasons. Again, I disagree. It makes it nice and concise, and each episode's that much more important. It's kind of like it feels like y'all want NBA versus I like the NFL, because you can't go In the NBA, you can go 10 or 20 games on a losing streak, and then like, well, we can still make the playoffs. Versus NFL is like, fuck, we lost the first game of the year. We are not going to the playoffs. This is bad. We got to win every game now. The pressure. I like each entry being that much more purposeful. The idea of filler episodes, like Clone Wars, has a problem with filler episodes. It's a great show, but filler episodes are just make you want to scratch my eyes out. Keely Chan says Dion also loves some white women. Well, they kind of are the cream of the crop. Try and get Dion to stop watching Dark Fate and start watching Dark Angel because Jessica Alba is half white. Melissa says Meth Gator. Keely Chow. Gary of Pop Culture Minefield has vindicated ink on Fun My Comic. Yeah, I actually found like I think it's like the SEAL Team 6 comic book that he did or is a part of. It looked interesting, and then I saw Jerry Kissel's name on it. I'm like, oh shit, I know that guy. All right. So this will be my first entry into reading his work.
What kind of artwork do you like?
Like comic wise?
Yeah. For your book.
I want to go for like, kind of like a standard DC book. I mean, I'm a Marvel guy, but DC has better art for like what I want to create. Generally speaking, like panel to panel, a lot more realistic, versus stylized.
So I bought the your boy Zach and Critical Drinkers book.
Oh God, how was that?
A New Kind of War.
Okay.
And this is the kind of artwork throughout the whole book. It's good. I mean,
it's got a style to it.
Yeah, it actually does. And Will Jordan, who is a Critical Drinker, that's his name, Will Jordan. He wrote the book. It's actually decent, but I bought all these. I love Graham Nolan. You know Graham. You've watched him plenty of times on Comics and Kings, right? You know who he is.
Usually when I listen, I'm driving, so I've never really actually took his face in.
so Graham is. I would say Graham is the even-keeled guy in Comicgate, right? He just wants to get he wants to get along with everybody. He's actually been on Az's show with Chuck Dixon. Okay, but he's also a Comicsgate guy. So at the end of the day, he's loyal to the Comicsgate world. And this is a book by Graham called Alien Alamo, and they're just fantastic. And do you watch Ethan's show?
When I can. I have the problem being a YouTuber. I'm subbed to like 500 channels. So if I devote time to anybody, like with the trash cast going on, I'm definitely invested in Ethan stuff lately.
So this is another book by Graham, Joe Frankenstein. Look at that art. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And that was part 2. This is part 1. And it all has to do with an island. But anyway, Ethan reviewed this book the other day called Bronze Star. Did I lose you?
No. I put you on solo because you're showing books.
Okay. So he reviewed this book the other day called Bronze Star, and it's by Mike Barron. He wrote it, and Pat Broderick drew it. All this is hand drawn, guys. Every bit of it. And this guy, Pat Broderick, is in his 70s. And it's unbelievable. And I cannot wait to open this up and review it. Not review it, but just read it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go online and give my fucking review. I'm just some guy that's a fan.
I think that might be more valuable sometimes. Like for me, I'm a film guy. So when I review a comic, I'm like, yeah, the art's cool or the art's bad. Yeah, I'm not really adding detail
It,
artistically. It's
and that's
story.
in your opinion, right? That's in your opinion. The art's good or bad based on what you like.
Yeah, I mean, you could have something like ISOM where before I ever knew, I only learned about the 3D asset stuff because of people pointing out. But it was funny because Tony Geek Getaway, he had this post back in October where he was pointing out like the horrible tiny castle scene in ISOM 2. And it's just funny because like when I saw like the cover C of ISOM, which is the standard cover I got, where he's like falling back from the Alpha Core, I always thought it looked weird. I always thought Gooding's entry looked weird, but I had no verbiage. I had no understanding of like, oh, this is like an asset that's traced, so he doesn't have the right perspective for everything around him. But it was just funny because like something isn't right about this, but it wasn't. I didn't have the knowledge to like nag about it, you know. And so it's great to see EVS like fully demonstrate why it's bad. I'm like, oh my god, no wonder this always felt weird to me.
Yeah, there's no eye contact with you as a consumer, right? But I bought the whole kit and caboodle for my ISOM. I spent like $400 on.
Oh my god,
shit.
you are part of the problem.
So I received it at my house. I looked at the books and I said to my wife, "Put this shit on eBay right now." Put it on eBay, and we sold it for like $625. So I made my money and got some profit. But the problem was it just didn't, it looked like a fraud, right? It did not look like a comic book. So I'm not the biggest comic book guy in the world, but I enjoy the world of comics, right?
Yeah,
And
it's limitless.
It is. So this past summer, there's a comic book store that was closing close to where I live. And I go into the store and they're just getting rid of shit. And I bought 6 long boxes full of DC comics for like $500. It's full
not a bad deal.
It's full of Justice League America, Batman, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And so my wife has been going through and sorting them all. I'm like, so we're going through, we're looking them up online. Like, oh my God, I made a shit ton of money if I want to sell them, but I don't care about selling stuff. Eventually I'm going to die, right? So hopefully my 4 kids will go, hey, we got all this stuff. Let's make some money off of this shit. Right. Let's make, yeah. I mean, I've got pinball machines in my basement. I've got all kinds of toys sitting around. I've got liquor that I will never open because, like this bottle right here, this is a Pappy Van Winkle 15-year. This 15-year is about $2,900 to $3,800 if you sold it online. I paid $150 for it at my liquor store because I was on their list of good customers. So it's
Wait. What does it mean to be a good customer at a liquor store? Are you a frequent flyer?
what it means is like you'll go in there once a month and buy a bottle or two, and at the end of in November they'll say, hey, we have our list coming up for our allocations, and their allocations are strictly with Buffalo Trace. And Buffalo Trace is the people who create all these Pappy bottles, right? So they say, do you want to get on the list? Well, fuck yes, I want to get on the list because these are rare bottles. And so when they call you and they say, hey, you got 48 hours to get here. And when you get there, they hand you a brown bag and they say, this is your bottle. You walk up to the counter. You have no idea what it is. You open it up and it's whatever. It's a 10-year, 12-year, 15, 20, 23, whatever they have. And you pay retail. So retail is $199. But the marketplace for it is, if you got a bottle of 23-year Pappy Van Winkle, you're looking at a 5,000 bottle of bourbon.
Jesus.
Yeah, that 15-year. So I have 5 bottles of Pappy in my liquor closet that are at least worth $10,000. That's
Damn.
better than the stock market, right? Because that shit
Oh.
goes, yeah, it's up today, gone tomorrow. And I have some stock, and I fucking hate it. It's worse than gambling. Gambling is the same as the stock market. Every
That's why you
time
should
you
watch
think
Stock Tip Vito.
every time you think you're doing good, the next day they knock it down. Because only the rich get richer. The guy in the middle, he stays at the middle. They're going to control what you make as a profit unless you have a lead.
I would say you have the opportunity to be a smart guy to supersede the system. But yes, more or less, they're only going to let a few slip through the cracks to rise just to give everyone else hope, that they keep playing the game.
But if you
Honestly,
buy a
it's
bunch
the poor people that sustain all these different markets for the rich. They prey upon the poor, and they're, oh, I could break it big. I can make the lotto this year.
Could you? So, like, I hear all the time that like people that win the lotto, like 2 years later, are back to broke again. You hear that shit all the time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the people are usually irresponsible with their money and just splurge the shit out of it.
Oh, poor people don't know how to utilize money. That's
Oh, I'm a
just-
millionaire. Let me spend $1 million. Oh, I'm poor again.
Yeah, right. Rook, quit being Yellow Flash. I don't want to see your avatar.
Oh, sorry. No, I was on the phone because my coworker called, and apparently there's some sketchy guy that kept on coming in there and was like panting, and he's like, I'm being chased, and do you recognize me? And do you guys know how to handle a robbery? And like being super sketchy at my work, apparently.
You're in Washington State. They can steal all your money for $900 and nobody cares, right?
He got held up at gunpoint.
Yeah, I've been held at gunpoint before. And there's so it's just like my coworker, most of my coworkers are like 16, 17, 18 ish.
Yeah,
and so, he's like,
right.
he hasn't been in this kind of shit. He's working at Subway, and so he just, locked the door behind and was like, yeah, I kind of want to work now. Like, so the dude was like, well, this dude apparently was trying to like drop things near the entrance to our, behind the counter area, and was like trying to open the door and get in, sort of. And so I don't know what he did, but guy left, and then he locked the door behind him, called the cops to tell him about this guy. And apparently they are going around looking for the guy, but they didn't go and check on him, on my coworker. And so the higher ups were like, hey, can you go down there and close with him tonight? I'm just kind of like, there's 2 hours left till we close. I'm going to be working for 12 days in a row without a day off starting tomorrow. He seems freaked out and uncomfortable to work. He can just close the store. Just close it.
Go home.
Like, it's okay. Like I don't think they understand how more crazy our area has become. The influx of people from Portland have come over here so much and overflowed. And there's literally like what I call homeless village around. There's just so much more of that, and more like sketchy people around. So like, we've been robbed more. Like, I feel like in the last couple of years, we've been robbed more than we have in the past. Long time. And I mean, or at least if not robbed, a lot more sketchy people that seem like they are going to rob you, like from freaks. So I was talking to them about that, and my manager is always freaked out about what the higher ups say, and I just say, we can, if they want to yell at somebody, they can yell at me, but I'll fucking tell them about it, because
so
I've been through it enough. I know I can take heat for this kind of shit.
My son is a manager of a coffee house place. It's a place called Scooters, and we got like 11 inches of snow one day, and he just closed the store. He's like, nobody's coming to work. Nobody's coming to work, and nobody's going to drive through for fucking coffee in the Midwest. And
well, that's exactly what. So recently we had a whole bunch of snow and ice. The bigger part is the ice on the roads that come through. That stay. Even if the snow isn't that big, the ice is worse on the roads. And we're just like, it's rough in a lot of areas. And there's like, oh, well, whoever's closest, can they come in to open? It's like, no. Like, I'm the closest, but it's like, I'd have to walk.
And
it's like, that's not safe. So
my son's like, these people that are coming in the morning, their cars are very unreliable. You all know what you're hiring. Poor people. Right? You're hiring people that make no money, and they haven't ever made any money. So my son closed the store. And the owner of the franchise called my son and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And his regional manager never called him because he's a coward. And my son let the owner of the franchise have it. Say, "Look, hey, we're in this condition out here, and we just can't make it work." And he says, "Well, you should have called and let us know what was happening." And my son said, "Why? What would that have changed? The snow was still falling." And
Yeah.
and it's 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, and the
2 weeks
owner,
earlier.
no, 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, and his regional manager has not had a conversation with him about why he closed the store, because people are cowards. And
Yeah.
and here's the problem: the regional wanted my son fired for closing the store, and after my son had a conversation with the owner went back to the regional and said, "Dude, let him run the store. Let him. He knows what he's talking about."
Yeah.
And Rook, what are these posters behind you? They look really cool.
I've got different ones here. I got House of the Dragon on one end. I got a Power Ranger one. There's a Yaira. That was part of the reason why I honestly bought the reverse. I kind of like the art with that. Got Jessica Alba over there, taking up the shine, of course. You can't see because I have a bookshelf that covers half of the body, but that's Mila Kunis with her legs there and next to Thor.
That's Ashton Kutcher's wife, right?
I don't know currently with any of that stuff, but at the time, and then what else we got here? I got Jessica Alba and another Black Widow. When I first got a job, I thought my walls were so blank and empty. I just bought a bunch of posters to fill.
That's how
fill
I am.
all of
I
it.
cover
So I was
every
like, I
inch
just want to cover the wall because it was just so blank and boring. So
what's behind you, Black?
Oh, I got let me see, because it's backwards. So I got Neytiri from Avatar. I got a Kotobukiya Slave Leia. I'm a prequel guy. The only Leia to me it's good is Slave Leia. I hate Leia.
Really?
I do like Kid Leia in the Obi-Wan show. I thought she's a really good actress. She actually made the character a little more personable to me, but Leia's a bitch.
Can I be honest with you guys?
Yeah.
I grew up when Star Wars came out in theaters. I fucking hate Star Wars.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
This is why we're friends in Star Wars.
but I love Indiana Jones. I love Back to the Future.
Okay.
It's funny because Rookie's like, I've only seen Indiana Jones once at the time when it was on Netflix, and Rookie's like, yeah, Indiana Jones those suck. And then I made him watch me. He's like, "Oh my god, all three of these are amazing." I'm like, "I know."
Yes.
Have you bought them on 4K yet, Rookie?
No. One of these days I will. I'm on the Physical Media Show every week, and I splurged a lot of money on stuff recently, like over $500 for movies alone, and so I gotta wait a little while before I try to add any more to the collection or get any ones that I already have and replace them with better ones and stuff. So,
do you guys watch Adventure Brothers?
Brothers? No, I know of them. I'm sure I've probably seen an episode or two of those guys.
It's an old Aqua Swim show from the Cartoon Network.
Yeah, or an Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Yeah, Aqua Swim.
And again, Gary from Nerdrotic turned me on to them, and it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
if you can find it. So I had this streaming service at my home called Legato. I pay $20 a month for it, and I can watch everything unlimited, all HBO, all Cinemax, all that stuff. And also they have like new releases from theaters that come in over the service, and they have all these classic shows, and they actually have channels of like The Office 24 hours a day, Friends 24 hours a day, and it's $20 a month. It's unbelievable. And my boss says to me, "Isn't that illegal?" And I'm like, I don't know. Back in the day, I used to get these DirecTV cards that were pirated, and they would give you access to everything on DirecTV, and they would find it and they would cancel your subscription. I have never ever been canceled on Legato, and you guys, there's so much content. Like, who watched Godzilla -1?
I did not yet.
I'm actually not interested in.
I'll catch it when
Godzilla
it's more
-1.
available at some point. But I've heard only good things about it. So
I went to the theater with my wife, and it is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of them because it's not about Godzilla. It's about the people fighting Godzilla. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
we have to like go up against this guy, and what they did was $12 million versus the Marvels for 200
Ant-Man.
million. Yeah.
yeah,
I liked the first Ant-Man.
Well, no, I meant the newest one, Quantumanium.
I didn't watch it because you know why? Because Gary said don't fucking waste your time. And
I would agree, but not for why he would say it.
Right. But will I have fun with it? That's the thing. Sometimes movies are about fun. Right? Like, we just want to go and have a good time. We just want to just like forget the warehouse job, the subway job, and just go have fun, right?
You never forget the
Yeah.
warehouse.
of course.
Hey, I worked in plenty of warehouses.
The warehouse is with us.
I used to work for a company called SMX, and we managed warehouses, and like we did work for Office Depot and all that stuff, and we'd have to hire people, for midnight shifts
All
to
the
come
time.
in and unload trucks, and then get them sorted on pallets and ready for shipment the next morning. But I had St. Louis, I had Indianapolis, and I had Minnesota. And it's like, you know how hard it is to hire people in St. Louis to come into work at midnight and work a 4 or 5 hour shift? It's
I
impossible.
imagine it's difficult.
And
in
you're
general.
paying them like the minimum wage at the time. And you're like surprised when they don't show up. And I was a manager. I was like, I'm out there unloading trucks at 3:00 in the morning with one other guy because that's all we had on the shift. But then I've worked in other warehouses, like I'm from Arkansas. Woo pig. Mr. Sooner fan. And
Boomer Sooner.
You're from Washington, right? A Rook?
Yeah, I am.
But you're not a football fan.
Not a super one. I mean, Seahawks are what I hear about all the time, but I never really got into watching football. I feel like my first experiences with football kind of tainted me from wanting to get into it. Where like the idea when I was a kid, my dad was like, "Oh, you want to go to a Super Bowl party?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet." And my brother and I are like, "Yeah, let's go." And I was imagining, big screen TV, a lot of Pepsi and chips and pizza or something. And then, nope, we go to this old lady's house. She had homemade pizza that they all ate, so we didn't have any. There's like a couple of saltine crackers or something, but no chips. It was like, to me, I thought that Star Trek was weird. This dude had a full basement of unopened Star Trek everything, and that was weird. I was like, oh man, because I'm the kid that's like, play with the toys. What are you doing? Like, why?
Keep
You're
it
weird.
in the box.
You're weirdo. Keep it in the box. And I was just like, oh man. And there's a tiny TV, and it was just old people, and I was like, fuck football. Like, but I know, of course, it's not a fair representation of football. But it's like, I don't have the.
So you never played in high school?
I didn't play high school football. Everybody said I should have, or in wrestling. I have like the shoulders for it and shit. But I went for soccer and basketball.
Did you, Angus?
No, I was, I'm fat again, but I was a fat kid, but I was a fat kid that was equal parts Star Wars Spider-Man nerd and football nerd, so I could hang out with like the jocks and football players and chit chat about like the games of the week, why they won or lost. but then I can go over with the nerds. Now I never hung out the anime. Anime used to be smelly,
No.
weird people.
Yeah, you're right.
Now
They're
it's become normalized, which is weird. Like the only anime that was like okay was Dragon Ball, and I hated Dragon Ball as a kid. Ricky's getting me into it, but yeah, I'm just not an anime guy generally. I love Attack on Titan, but generally anime is just like overblown, the style. I'm just like across the board. I know there's different genres, but just the style of anime kind of irritates me. But yeah, I wanted to play football. My mom wouldn't let me. I was the only kid.
I'm a fan of the original anime, Speed Racer.
Yeah, never got
I
into
grew
that.
up somewhat knowing about Speed Racer. I'm sure that was on a few times, and I don't remember anything specific, but I somewhat familiar with it.
I bought a
really quick. Let me address the chat. We've had a big
Sure.
gap. So
let me go grab something real quick.
Yeah, you're fine. Katie popped in. She's streaming over Tony. Said, want to stop by and say hi, y'all. Look forward to watching this on replay. Welcome, BTM Reviews. I look forward to talk to you soon. Hey, Angus, hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I slept in a little too much after work, trying to get ready for the stream. Needed a little downtime. But we made it. Ricky pushed me. He's like, don't be old, lazy, Angus. Be new. Be great. 2024, Angus.
Yes.
And he's like, yes, Eric July would be disappointed in me not streaming. You're right, Ricky.
Yeah.
She's Melissa told Katie, tell TJ you said hello. All you know about Tennessee cops is the female ones are easy. Papa Cotton says you need to market the book like Biden's safe smoking kits and give out a glass meth pipe with it. Now, depending on the funding I can get once I have the book ready, I have thought about doing like Joe Camel style artwork or like memorabilia. I love Smoking Joe. I want to do that with Meth Gator, have them do like the cutesy like side eye to the camera. But like, you know, have like meth in camel lettering. And I thought about getting rock candy.
You should make that a trading card goal. Like,
see, I hate trading cards. It's just like I have no interest. If I had lots of funding, people want it, then I guess I'll give people what they want. But I just hate trading cards. When I get them in indie comic packs, I'm just like, cool. I guess I got this extra crap that I don't know where to put it. Like, I have no use for this. So for me, it's like I'm thinking of like, you know, posters clearly, the comic bookmark. I'll show actually the bookmark I got done recently. Keychain, maybe like stickers and or
mouse pad,
plushie mouse. Oh, I thought about like Magic the Gathering, like playing playmats. I thought about doing that, maybe getting custom art for playmats if I could get that kind of funding or stretch goal or something. But yeah, trading cards is like, I hate them. It's so useless to me. I don't plan to make a game of trading cards, so it seems pointless to me. But again, if backers want it and there's funding for it, then I'll figure out doing that for people, but definitely not in the wheelhouse in my view. I do want to do like rock candy where it's like get your own little green crystal. We got Karen saying hey to Papa. Graham Nolan, Chuck Dixon are awesome. Hell Comics Gate. And Melissa Ribsum saying including Horseman. Saint says Black Angus.
Melissa's awesome. She's all over the chat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Saint, thank you for joining. Says Angus base as fuck EVS streaming and D-Day Cobra doesn't bother you at all. LOL. I couldn't leave you with only 6 watching. Showing love. Appreciate it. Well, I try to just stick to schedule. You know, even when I work overnights every other month, I try to like figure out a time to slip in the beef before I go to work. Like a couple weeks ago, me and Ricky hung out. You'll never forgive the USA for voting for Biden again. Seriously, that guy is an embarrassing mess.
I had a couple of people ask me to like start a stream with them, and they're like, well, we gotta like put it between EVS and whoever else. I'm like, no, just do your stream.
Yeah,
yep, just go. People like to rewatch. People when they're done watching a stream, they like to watch something else afterwards. So
yeah, and if it's yeah, you're just on there to talk, right? And
yeah,
you know, I have no desire to come up with a scripted show. That's fucking FNT. Oh, this
Yeah.
is the first story, second story, third story. Let's read super chats. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, I
That's
hate it.
all of them.
Yeah,
But
I go
this is
for
what-
a Rogan approach of like, I don't
This
know
is
what
what-
we're going to talk about exactly. You know,
It's
there
what I
might
had
be
to
a
grow up.
story of the day, but we are going to just interact.
So this is the Speed Racer helmet, right? It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
But what's in the back is the entire DVD.
Oh,
collection.
that's cool.
Pretty awesome, right?
Interesting.
Look at Speed at the wheel. That's pretty awesome.
That's tight.
And that's like the 1960s original anime that made it to America. So, but I just love it. It's part of my Speed Racer.
Wait, Speed Racer's that old?
Oh yeah,
It's an old one, yeah.
I knew.
Yeah, it's
I
like-
figured it was like an '80s show.
No, I think it came out like in 1966.
Yeah, it's a six. If you see the style again, Angus, it's like a '60s one,
And
Huh.
an old timey.
and when I was growing up, it was on reruns, so it already like it's like Star Trek when I grew up. You could watch it any channel, anytime because it was a rerun. Hey, look at this, Keely. Nice. She likes my is it? or
Oh no,
he likes-
he's
is it-
His
he likes-
pronouns are he, him, or his.
he uses him chocolate from the Daily Wire. No she her for this guy.
but
His chocolate has nuts.
FNT blows. All right. I'm sorry to read your chats. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know what the joke was, Melissa, but I'm glad you're having fun. Papa Cotton wants me to show for some reason my chat is stuck. My mouse is working, but come on.
What are you trying to click on?
There we go.
Okay.
1 second. All right, so there is the owl and Athena, and the calendar. I need to change the month, but it's Razor Candy. She's a OnlyFans thought, but I've been following her as a alt model since I was deployed like 10 years ago. So it's funny because she just like maintains her figure. Like she's just gorgeous. So I have no problem backing her calendars. She does great cosplay and she looks beautiful. Has nice proportional orbs on her chest. No, I have my pronouns in my Twitter bio just like everyone should. And wait, yeah, he says Bangus has called me worse than that. Yeah, I've called him the N-word before in jest. So Dave, what turned you to start detracting online for Rip a Goalpost to find you?
I guess at the end of the day, it's all about the repetitiveness of what they're talking about. I don't know how many times I can turn on to Gary and say Disney is failing. Disney is failing. Marvel's a disaster. Whatever the fuck he again, his videos are good, but it's always the same content. Except for this time, he's talked to a insider, right? Whenever I watch somebody and they have insider access, I start to doubt it because I'm just that kind of guy. It's like I have no access, but so 10 years ago, I'm sitting on the couch with my wife and I go, wow, look at these commercials. They're trying to sell us a world that isn't real.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I wrong? They're trying
No,
to
I
sell
noticed that back during like Jurassic World.
They're
the
trying
movies,
to
I'm like, there's not this many black people. Like, what the?
Well,
I'm mixed. There's not as many black people.
Yeah, there's not this many black and white elderly couples that are so in love with each other that they're fucking getting their medication together. And it's like, what are we watching? This is bullshit. And then it just kept going and going and going. And I was like, okay. One night I come home on a Friday, and this was a Friday night. I turned on YouTube, and I was never a big YouTube person. My kids were YouTube people, and because they're kids, right? All the kids are into YouTube. So I turn on and it just says FNT. I turn on FNT, I'm like, oh, let's check this out. 5 hours later, I'm like, holy shit, these guys know what I'm talking about. We've all been there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They know where we're coming from. Like, we've all noticed this as people. A year and a half later, it's like, okay, we fucking get the point. We at some point it's got to go on to something different, and nothing has ever changed with these guys. They have stayed in the same realm, and then Jeremy brags about how he hired Ryan Cannell before Gary could. You've all heard the story, right? They met up at San Diego Comic-Con. Ryan was in the Navy, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
and
we even streamed
Ryan,
with him a few times back in the day too.
right, and Ryan's like, and Gary and Ryan were like, you'd be a really good streamer, and then Jeremy brings him over to Geeks and Gamers. And do you guys think that RK Outpost pays Gary anything?
That he pays Gary?
No, I'm sorry, Jeremy. Do you think that's part of it? Since he found him?
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe
I
before.
feel like there's a lot of overlap in general with them, so I don't think they actually pay each other. They promote each other all the time, so
I think they're
I don't
probably
think there's an
just
exchange
in
of money.
arms. I think there's in arms now, but maybe originally Cannell was getting a payout for videos here or there.
Yeah. So like, if you look at like the history of like Flashcast and Jeremy and all these guys, over time their views are just keep going down and down and down because the people that watched all this stuff, we all had the same thought process, like something's messed up in what we're watching, right? We're just like, this isn't right, this isn't reality. And then we watch these guys, after a while we go, this isn't reality. These guys are full of shit, and we move on to the next thing because we're always trying to validate ourselves. And at some point we just go, fuck it, we're going to make our own shit and call these guys out for their bullshit because they're all full of shit at the end of the day. Because if you can't come up with something better on a daily basis, you're just, like I said earlier in the stream, Rook, all of their thumbnails look alike.
Yeah, they figured out the Tim Pool system, and they've just hooking it to 10,000.
Yeah, and if they get 40,000 people to watch, they've paid their bills that month, right, for that video, and it's kind of a gross thing. When you watch like Ethan tonight, he's still streaming on my fucking television over there, and it's like, how much money has he made tonight? I don't know, but I don't care, because at the end of the day, I think Ethan is a genuine guy.
Yeah,
I honestly do. If he wasn't genuine, he'd be worried about what these fuckers were saying about him.
If he was just out for money, like people are noticing, like with the trash cast stuff, it's like, oh wow, look at all the money he's making. He's just drama farming. He's like, yeah, he's drama farming, and it's getting him, spending money. But he doesn't have to do this. He's already like iced himself from these people because he sees like they're phonies. If he was just out for money, he would be lockstep with these people. He would.
When he called Eric July out for the night posts or whatever he calls them,
the night letter,
and the night letters, it was over. He's like, I don't give a fuck about these people. I'm gonna be about Ethan and Comicsgate. And if you're a person that thinks as an individual, you have to respect that, because he could have fucking bombed really fast, but he didn't, because adults understand where he's coming from, not people that just want to support something, right? We want to support we all supported the cause in some form or fashion, if we've ever fuck I have a goddamn as wiener plushie? All right, guys, that's how into that world I was. I bought the
man.
All right.
but they're in my grandson's room, so I don't give a shit, right?
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you want to support the cause.
Yeah.
We hate the mainstream, but we also love the mainstream.
Yeah, but say like, no, I really like the mainstream. I just don't like what they've done lately, generally speaking.
Right. I love Indiana. I love Indiana Jones. I love do you guys like Back to the Future?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course.
Marty McFly, he's the
I haven't,
shit.
I haven't
right?
watched the third one in years, so I don't know if I like the third one. But
I love
one
the
and
third
two
one.
are
The third
amazing.
one's fine too. It's a different pace, but yeah, it's still.
But I love
Still
the
good.
whole Western. I love the Western aesthetic, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's great. Yeah, it's
We're straight for it.
fantastic. Yeah, and so you miss those things. But do you guys like Avatar? I know you have a figure back there, but do
Oh
you like?
God, I
do you-
love Avatar. No. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Avatar.
there's definitely a theme of just sexy women and Athena, but I legitimately love Avatar. I was never a hater. Ever since it came out, like I didn't get to go see it in theaters. I saw the trailer when it debuted during the Dallas Cowboys game on the giant TV. It was a big deal. This was the debut through Fox. I'm like, oh my God, this looks awesome. And then I saw it when I got the DVD. Loved it. It was definitely a perfect movie for that time because, like, when I was a kid in small town Oklahoma, riding the bus for an hour to get to school because the route's so long. Not many people on the bus, but it's just a long route in the country. I used to
Yeah.
loathe living in the country, and then
you fucking hillbilly.
yeah, and then I started getting older into like junior and senior year. I started appreciating the hour ride I got to listen to music on the bus, playing AC/DC or Amon Amarth, whatever. And
Thunderstruck. Yeah.
yeah, and I kind of matured, and I started through Avatar. I started appreciating Earth and like the country, and so Avatar 2 comes out. I was already on board. I didn't know what the hell the plot was going to be. I saw the trailer. I'm like, yes, I'm down. Rookie's a doubter, and I'm like, dude, you got to rewatch Avatar, man. It's a great show. It's simple. It's a simple story, but it's a spectacle film, and it's pushing the boundaries of what we can do. These films, besides like the water tanks or whatever, they're all made in a warehouse with like styrofoam props. Nothing is real, and what they've created with this, is so breathtaking. And the potential he has with this, like I want to invest more time to learn the like lore outside of the films, learn about the planet. There's like a few graphic novels for Avatar. I think there's a book or two. There's of course in-depth books. I love Avatar. It's
So,
that's the thing too with the F&T, all those people.
oh, they
They kept
Yeah.
hammering. Oh, it's woke, and then they see it and like, oh, whatever, or oh, it's pretty good actually. They never make retractions for like, I got it wrong, guys. Sorry. The only guy I've seen to ever do retractions is Josiah Rises. I don't watch him anymore, but I'll never crap on him because whatever his slant and like what he's got to pander to, at least he has some integrity to retract when he gets it wrong. Like he was really after Tom Hanks for stuff, I'll say.
and he creates stuff too. He's created films. He's done stuff.
Yeah, and so at least Josiah.
If you haven't seen Taker's Crown, that's on Amazon. It's Josiah Rises' his old film.
Is it really?
One of his older films, Taker's Crown. They're making they have their own epic verse thing, and they're making a film with that. So it'll be interesting to see the comparison.
Yeah, I was not sold on that teaser.
When I used to live in the Columbus area back when Avatar came out.
Wait, Georgia or Ohio?
Ohio.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the name of the town. It was about 25 miles north of Columbus. Little small town. But I went to the mall down in Columbus, and my wife and kids weren't with me at the time, and I went and watched Avatar. I was like, holy shit, this is really good. I watched Avatar in the theaters 4 times.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's how much it was. I liked it, but I haven't seen Avatar 2 because Why?
The influencers.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too because it only made maybe like a quarter of its money in America, but it's a global phenom. Both films, more or less like 3+ billion overseas. And you wonder why. And it's like, yeah. Again, Avatar simple. You can meme it as it's Dances with Wolves with aliens. Sure. What it's Pocahontas. The reason these films resonate is because it hits that, like, we all wish we could be Indians before the colonists. We all wish we could be in tune to some degree with nature. Not to say that there wasn't a lot of cruel existence being in India and with whatever diseases were over here before Europeans.
Yeah, right.
The calamity, just trying to survive. You're pretty much only eating meat your whole life, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. I'm pretty much a carnivore, but it wasn't a choice for them. And they didn't really have a plethora of cuisine or experience. They didn't even have fucking wheels.
Yeah, but the American Indians killed all the buffalo, right?
Yeah.
That's a yeah, right. No, they didn't.
No. I have a very mixed opinion because I'm a registered Cherokee in the nation of Oklahoma, but I really don't like Indians.
Are you getting goddamn casino money?
No, I wish. Now, if I was in Oklahoma, I could go to the clinic all the time, and if I wanted to, I guess, try to live on like sanctioned land or get like a land grant or something, then that would be casino money.
I think Rookie is getting casino money. Look at
Well, no,
I wish.
whatever you think about like BLM and shit, it's crazy because the Indians are actually worse, and it makes sense though, because all the warriors were killed 200 years ago, and so all you've had is generations of poverty and assistance from the Indian state or the U.S. state, and it's all been like feminized. So that's the value to me of like red pill, like Rollo Tomasi, whenever it's like applying it politically to our society, is I don't get mad about BLM anymore. It's like, well, it makes sense when you've destroyed the home, you've taken fathers out, you've raised men generations to be women, and so they're going to act like women. That's what BLM. It's with all this like looting and stuff. It's all feminine energy. I don't get mad about it. It's like I don't like what's going on, but I don't get mad about it. And so I see that even worse with Indians. So like I don't engage. I'll take the money. Sure, you're going to give it away like they did like a COVID thing. I took that, but I'm American.
I did not get any COVID money.
Wow. Oh man, it was nice.
It
worked out for me because I kind of wish COVID kept going on as a pandemic because those payouts, even though it hurts the whole country in the future with more debt, I need to get back on my feet, and I was working, but I still need to get on my feet, so that was like a surplus for me to like stabilize. So that was great for me.
I worked through the whole pandemic and never got a dime from the government.
Wow.
But
sounds like you didn't play your cards right, buddy.
I was okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm in sales. Okay. And so I deal with people that want to locate underground utilities. So they're going to go dig, and they have to find what's underground before they start digging. And I'm the person that will sell them equipment to find that underground utility before they start digging. And like it or not, during COVID, people were still fucking digging. Okay? There's no mask needed out in the field when you're going to dig up a pipeline so that
the trench
or whatever it is, right? And so I never ever got a day off. I literally when they said, when Donald Trump said 2 weeks off to stop the spread, I looked at my wife and I go, yeah, Americans aren't going to go for that shit. How wrong was I? Right? We fucking just whatever the government says, we're going to just fucking do whatever they say. So the thing is, like, when the customers I deal with, they still had to work. Okay, whether or not that. What is that music? I love it.
Oh, it might be my PlayStation in the living room. It just
Yeah.
comes on sometimes. I don't
It's
know.
I like it though. Yeah, you PlayStation 5, right?
No, I got the 4. I can't afford a 5. And I don't really want one either. Like I'm very content. I'm a very
When
my
are you
my
gonna?
my
Are you
gaming is for DVDs mostly and
are you
streaming.
are you not monetized?
Yeah, I'm monetized.
Who's not super chatting you yet?
Hey, it comes, it goes. I'm not a stickler.
There hasn't
I
been
do
as
this.
heavy a rip a night tonight.
Yeah,
for
I
a
do
lot of the
this.
influx of followers.
I do this
No,
game
but
regardless of the viewership. Like I'm
no.
I'm in it.
Hey, Black Angus, I totally agree. Somebody asked me about views the other day. I don't give a fuck about the views. I just made a bunch of Air July videos, and then I broke it up with a bourbon review because I like bourbon, and I tasted what was so good I had to make a review, and I'm like, I got to put it on. I know it's going to kill my algorithm, but I don't care about the algorithm. I just want to have fun online, right?
Well, it's funny. People complain about having to stick to the algorithm. I remember like a year or two ago, Temple was talking about his routine, and now he can't ever stop and take a break because this will like kill his channel and have to dig himself out of the hole. And it's like you're part of the problem, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't know if we can
Yeah.
stop the problem, but I am not contributing to it.
If people do different things that you already have a huge audience and you do something different, yeah, there's probably gonna be some people that go, all right, well, I'm not gonna watch anymore. There's other people that might go, wow, I never saw this, and oh, that's awesome. It's a pretty big channel, and okay, wow, okay. Or the people that have watched them for a while could go, finally, something different. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a little, I guess, tea for you. Me and Ricky, I don't know about Ricky now, but we used to be cool at Drunk 3PO years ago when we were all starting. And at one point,
I think he's neutral though. If you watch
He's
some of the
probably the most neutral out of the bunch.
if you watch some of the shows with Drunk Sleep Be on it and all the chickens and cheddar coming in, he's actually laughing. He's like, what the fuck? He's laughing his ass off because he has no skin in that game. He doesn't. I bought his book for my grandson, the blue
Was it good?
whatever. I don't know.
The Achromatic Chronicle thing, yeah.
Yeah, my wife reads it to him, but she hasn't said it's bad, and it is a legitimate 150, 200 page book.
Yeah, it's 200
yeah,
pages.
he's a English teacher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think he's a good person. I like him. I hate what's her name? The chick that's in Mexico. God damn.
That's in Mexico, X-Ray Girl, or
No. She's from Canada. She's the one that started this whole shit.
oh, you don't like Nina?
Nina. Yeah, because she is a flip.
She's in Mexico? I had no
yeah,
idea.
she's a Canadian that moved to Mexico. Yeah,
She's a Canadian
Wow.
that she lives in Cancun.
She's displacing all the Mexicans. This is becoming a problem. All the Americans moving to like border towns, displacing Mexicans.
She's a flip flopper. Yeah, and it's like Dick Masterson called her out on Ricardo's show that night and said, "Hey, did you read the book?" And she said, "No." Well, how the fuck do you know it's good? How do you know Isom's good?
Yeah, no,
That's what
Dick had a
opened up-
great
That's what
point.
opened up the favorite part of Isom.
Yeah, Dick had a great point. It's like, it doesn't matter if I've read it. I'm not pushing it all the time and pretending it's great. You are all lockstep because you're all afraid to not be, But what I was going to go during 3PO is it's funny talking about algorithm stuff and this
Yeah.
people because he, made himself a Star Wars channel. And then before The Mandalorian, at some point, I remember him saying like, he was talking about like pivoting to Marvel because he's a big Thor and Punisher guy. At least when we talked, he said he was.
So you've talked to him?
Oh yeah, we used to be cool. Yeah.
Okay.
We knew some of these people before they got really big.
Yeah. And
Before they found Gary, and Geeks and Gamers. Yeah.
Well, it's funny enough. We were on streams a couple of times with Jeremy and with Nerdrotic back in the day.
Really?
Pretty early.
Yeah.
I was on Jeremy's 100,000th anniversary stream or whatever, a celebration. It was like the middle of the night, and he was drilling into the microphone, and because he had all the main guests of the day go, and he was just by himself talking to the chat, and I was like, hey, I can come in if you want somebody to talk to. And then I came on that one, and then later At some point, I had Nerdrotic on to talk about film stuff. At one point,
Yeah.
This goes way back in the day when they did this more often. I think.
But Rookie
Stuff.
was Gary a sincere guy? I think he's sincere. I really think he is a sincere
I think like
guy.
the stuff he told me was pretty honest. I mean, because I was talking about how I want to be a filmmaker, and he was like, just saying, I don't know what you want to do, but I don't recommend Hollywood because they will eat up whatever ideas you got and shit all over it. So it's like, yeah, I kind of believe that. I mean, in general, whether you talk to him or professionals, I mean, that's seems to be the cut of the jib is that they, the creative ideas you have, they usually tear apart and whittle down. So
and Chris Gore, like you watch Chris, right?
Yeah, here and there. And I used to watch him when he was on Attack of the Show too, on G4. Or I forget which specific show he was on, but in that channel.
If you watch him enough, he talks about how making his own movies is like a thing. Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like
it's a lot more fulfilling now.
And I did enjoy his documentary, Attack of the Doc. It was really good. And if you guys watch it, it's all about, the G4 days. And he got some people to go on and talk about their days back with G4. But it's not easy for any indie creator. So, but that's the whole point of being indie, right? It's not easy.
It's doing the harder elbow grease, honestly.
Yeah, and
really quick, gotta interrupt. We got Tim's talking here. Says, "What up, gangsters? Been gaming tonight. Re-release the Snyder Cut. Yeah, what a money pit.
Yeah,
I do like the Snyder Cut, but Jesus Christ, just let it die. Just stop it. Or here, I said this. This is a compromise. I don't know if anyone's offered this, but it's like actually bring Zack Snyder back and let him run his Snyderverse through DC Animation. I think that's a good middle ground.
That'd be a good middle. I'd accept
more
that.
cost effective. He could voice cast the same actors if he wishes, or get good sound alikes. Because I am interested to see what he's going to develop or what he wanted to develop with this series. But BVS Ultimate Cut really is a masterpiece. Not as like it's not The Godfather, but it's like, wow, he's really trying to make something. Besides the last third with just the schlock, he really tried to like layer a story. So I appreciate it.
I liked the Snyder Cut more than I ever liked the original cut.
I prefer the original because it gets over faster, and I think both are completely awful and asinine. So,
well,
one's over by the time the other one's halfway through. So I'd take that one.
I appreciate the Snyder Cut because it's like one tone. It's consistent.
Yeah,
but watching Mahler's video, it's like actually surprisingly the Justice Cut is a superior story cut. But again, people want to demonize Joss Whedon, but he came into something with a time hack and only changed like 10% of the movie. I think he gets a really unfair,
it's like somebody else's vision, and the studio has control on characters. He's there to just clean up the mess and take the blame, essentially.
I think Hollywood is they're like, oh shit, we should not got rid of Joss Whedon because he made a lot of good stuff. Whether you like him or not as a director, and whatever he said to his people and his staff, what he put on the screen was unbelievable. And I'm gonna go out and buy the Buffy box set because of what Mahler says and how good it is. And I do trust Mahler. I think that he comes from a place of, you know what, the first season was but once you get past that, it's really good until the end. And then there's Angel, which is supposed to be even better.
It's pretty much you thought that Buffy was all right, but you're tired of some of the corniness. There's still some corniness in Angel, but it's toned down a bit. It's a little more, takes itself a little more seriously. There's still, I'd say the humor in Angel lands better than in Buffy, because in Buffy that seems to try a little bit harder to be funny sometimes, because like Xander and some of them, but in Angel, it's like, oh shit, there's a lot more serious characters that get put in comedic situations, sort of.
I do not remember what network it was on. It was probably the CW back then or whatever it was. And back then when network TV was, you had ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox.
Yeah.
All the
Mhm.
other was just whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's garbage. But then you find like a show like Monk. You guys remember Monk?
I have watched a lot of Monk, but it's
A
been
little
years.
Monk Monk is a
Wait.
great show. But when you're like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what the fuck is that? Why would I watch this? But after listening to Mahler and to Gary, you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to buy this box set one day and just sit down and watch it.
I don't know. It's just besides Avengers, like Joss Whedon stuff, he's male feminist and stuff, and everyone loves Buffy. I'm just like, it sounds kind of gay. Okay. I'm kind of not interested.
It's one of the
I don't
ones
even care
where-
if Mahler says it's good. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. I think I'll keep my balls on that one.
But
really quick,
but
we
don't-
got
but
Melissa Baker, $5 says, "Oh, fine, take my money, thank you." Appreciate it. She also said she has a couple. Nina lives in Mexico. I don't care for her or Melanie or Anna. Yeah, fuck all of them bitches. Chrissy's like such a weird oddball with that whole group because she seems pretty genuine, and yet she slums it with these fucking retards. It's funny.
Is you talking about Anna the Star Wars girl?
Yeah, fuck that bitch. I don't know if you saw my video, but we have a history, and it's funny. It's funny. So I guess to make it short, me and Ricky used to have like this group channel with a couple other people, and we're going to try to be like the high council, but focus on pushing smaller channels that we vet.
We're already pretty much like meeting a lot of people and having them make YouTube channels. People in the audience that wanted to do like stuff. We'd reach out and then reach them out to the higher channels here and there. We're like a middleman in a way.
Yeah, and someone wanted to debate her, so it's like they asked me like hit her up. So I'm like, hey Ricky, what do you think of like hosting this debate if it happens? She never responded, but then she like tagged me in something unrelated, being like, do your research about these channels. And it's like, I fucking was. And then Jeremy came at me in the chat, in the private chat, white knighting for her. When it's like, I didn't even say anything bad to her. I just like, I'm doing my research.
Jeremy Griggs.
Yeah. And so giving her attitude, I'm like, fuck this bitch. So I block her. And I guess that really stuck in her side for years. And when I did a super chat recently on Trashcast for you guys to show my posters, everyone's like, that looks cool. And then Anna as a mod's like, Angus is a snake. He did this and that and grifted off my dead sister. And I did one fucking video about her sister because all these channels that I was talking to in back rooms were scared to put videos up when they did a blackout, like Nerdrotic and bullshitters and stuff. They did a 24-hour blackout in solidarity with her for her sister.
Like where nobody posts a video all day or
and so all the little
her
channels,
sister, and they're like, well, we have videos we're gonna post today. And
little channels were scared to get canceled if they did a video. And so my video was more of a like, hey, this is a big deal in our community. Like, I don't like this bitch, but I feel bad for her and her family. So, I can be a human. And it was also, I was invoking the NFL in 9/11, where it's like, they almost didn't play that week the next year, or maybe it might have been that year, but they're like, hey, we got to get America back on track. So that was my whole message to small channels is like, do what you're going to do. Don't let them influence you. And like, hey, sorry about your sister. She, went on the stream and she painted me like I grifted her sister. No one even researched what the video was. I haven't watched it until she did that shit on Ethan's channel recently. And so I did a rebuttal.
I told Angus, I was like, well, what even happened in the like? I don't remember the video.
Yeah, we rewatched the video.
Happened?
I haven't seen this in 4 or 5 years, and I'm like, wow, she looks like a real cunt. Because I cried in the video because I'm trying to empathize, and it made me think about Afghanistan, and because I haven't had like family deaths. And she tried to paint like I made it all about me. It's like that was 15 seconds, and I cried. I almost didn't put the video because I didn't want to get Matt Jarboed and people meme me for crying. So that was in my head too, but I did it anyway. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not re-recording. It'll be less genuine if I re-record it. And she paints me like I'm a monster. And then she's crying about me blocking her. And so I do a video and I tag her. I'm like, wouldn't be fair for me to talk about you behind a block. And then she blocked me, crying about being blocked for 4 years, and then insta blocks me. Fucking bitch. So yeah, fuck Anna. She's a grifter. Melissa also says, I'm a Vito fan though. I wouldn't have found Angus if it weren't for Vito. Yeah, I love Vito. I don't know if you watch Biggest Problem, Dave.
Every week.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. The pirate bit. I love the pirate bit.
So, do you guys even watch Arcade Law?
Well,
Not often,
it's
on
just-
occasion, but not often.
like if it's Eric related or EVS or
So-
Dick, I'll check in. But it's
So,
just
so,
he's kind
so
of outside.
last year he had a show in Nashville, and go to the show, watch all these, Camelot, watch Dick, all on stage, Drexter, Nick, all these guys, and I was like, honey, we're going to Nashville because I love Nick. Because he knows what's going on, and so anyway, me and Dick are walking towards the show, and we had like a 20-minute conversation about the whole Eric July thing. I was like, dude, keep it up. Fuck that motherfucker. He's full of shit. Keep saying what you're saying because Eric July is the ultimate grifter in my mind. In my mind, he is taking advantage of all of the nerdrotic, all of the geeks and gamers, all of the Yellow Slash fans, and saying, I'm the alternative. He's not the alternative to shit. He just making a book with 3D assets and saying, hey, buy me. And you guys are smart. I'm smart. After a while, you go, wait a minute. This isn't good. These are bad books.
I almost backed him day one on the first book, but I was like, I'm tight on money right now. And it's like small guys need my money more because he made like $1 million a day. I'm like, actually, I'm gonna have to hold off on this. I need to back smaller guys.
But if you had the money, you would have backed it because you were supporting the cause. Not that you believed in the comic, you were against the mainstream. And that's how I was. I had the money. It's like, fuck the mainstream. They're all full of shit. We got all these SJWs and writing comics, whatever.
That's not even my problem. I was going to back him to be an alternative, not as like this parallel market shit, his libertarian stuff. I've always thought that was retarded. My thing is, like, I want DC to do good, to keep Marvel honest. I'm a Marvel guy. DC sucks besides Batman. They got great power templates. They have no characters besides Batman because he's a Marvel character. His whole setup is Marvel.
But DC has better villains.
I have to do more research to actually say yes or no on that, especially with the Marvel formula of character over power.
You don't like Superman?
Oh, Superman's awful.
What about you, Rook?
I'm kind of similar. I mean, I've seen the only version of Superman that I like is the Justice League animated, but I feel like that's the most toned down Superman because he gets shocked by something and that takes him out of the fight for a bit, as to where in other versions he's just seems to, I don't know, I just don't seem to like him much. He's okay.
Well, he is super. He
definitely
is
one of the lowest I'd say, because he's got so many abilities and so many of them don't make any sense to what he's supposed to be, and it's just like I don't know.
But Superman is a child fantasy. Like all
he's
superheroes,
got laser eyes, freezy breath, super strength, super speed.
X-ray vision.
Like, hold on, just stop.
But Black, if you were a 12-year-old and you found Superman, you're like, he's the baddest motherfucker in the world.
Oh yeah, that's my whole thing. Is like he is.
But as you're in the 30s and 40s, you're like, yeah, whatever. What the fuck? Is there any way to defeat this guy except for some green crystals? Yeah,
it's not a very engaging character. Now, I do appreciate the whole intrinsic angle of like he's an alien god that just wants to be another guy on Earth. He just wants to blend in. Versus Lex Luthor's a person who thinks he's a god over everyone, and it's really cool. Polar opposite dichotomy. You got a really good setup. It's just Superman's too overpowered to make engaging stories, especially when you throw him in the Justice League. But besides like brain magic powered stuff, like what is the check on this guy? Why do I need this stupid team of people?
I'd say the only character thing that I think works best maybe for him is like if he is trying to not destroy everything with his power, like if he's tested out how strong he is, he can like blow up a planet with a punch. So if he's gonna fight bad guys on Earth, he has to like punch people with less, and I feel like that can be interesting, but not. I don't know how engaging it could be. I feel like Dragon Ball does a better type of power template of like, okay, I'm this strong, but I'm trying to be this strong right here, and then how that affects the battle and what's going on. They seem to make that work better. They're not OP. They could still die. Is
but
usually the thing compared to Superman,
what,
who he can almost never die ever, really, in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think the creators would have made him so stacked to start if it wasn't for if they were aware of where this would go, universe wise, all these other characters. I don't think they would have set him up to be so stacked.
Yeah, but back in the 1930s when they created Superman, they were trying to fight World War One, right? Like he's the baddest mother ever in the world.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's like it's a. I
makes
definitely
sense for the
understand
time when it's created.
yeah,
sure.
you're locked into the time you're created.
Yeah, I think
like
he's a character that
Batman was a detective when he started, right?
Yeah, I think.
Do you like that? Do you like Robert Pattinson as Batman?
Oh, he's amazing.
I thought it was great.
I just wish that they would do more Bruce Wayne. I think Batfleck in BVS was the best Bruce Wayne because
You like
Bruce
that,
Wayne.
Affleck?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne should be like James Bond, because he's a money guy. He should have that, like, 50 Shades of Grey is, retarded fantasy for women, whatever. But like that setup of that character being a rich guy, so he has this affluence to be in like Bond-esque kind of exotic locations and events. That should be something Bruce Wayne does, and they did it for plot with Nolan.
Nolan was great.
There's good stuff with Bruce Wayne, but it's not enough. I don't really feel they really engaged the duality of Batman well. They definitely got the symbol of what Batman means perfect in Chris Nolan's.
If you're as old as I am and you watch the Adam
West,
West
Jeepers
Batman.
Creepers, Robin.
Jeepers Creepers, go. Robin. Let's ride this motherfucker to the fucking warehouse. But it was fun, right? And when you're and it was already in repeats when I was a kid. I mean, Batman in the 60s was already over in like 3 years.
Yeah.
In the 70s, it was all repeats. And you watch it and you're like, it was fantastic as a child growing up. You're like, oh my God. You got Adam West. You got, who played Robin?
I don't know.
I don't remember the old one.
Right. We don't remember, but the character we loved, right? Because it was fun. And, the version with Tim Burton with Jack Nicholson, I love Jack Nicholson as Joker.
Oh, you probably hate me. I think he's the worst Joker besides Jared Leto.
Jack Nicholson. No, Jack Nicholson is a supreme actor in general.
Oh yeah, he's a great actor.
He's fantastic, and what goes on around the movie besides Jack Nicholson is besides the point. He played the Joker great, and he just played it right, and he died at the end, right? He just fell in that pit of bullshit and died.
My problem with Jack Nicholson's Joker is, like, totally there's just things where I'm like, wait, the fact that people got mad at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3 for this dance, which is like, yeah, he's a douche. You're not supposed to like bully Maguire. This is the Venom suit taking over. He's cringe. He's lost the magic of Peter Parker. That's the whole point. But people watch, Joker's Prince dance in the art museum or whatever, and I think this is great. I'm like, this is so cringe to me.
It's cringe as fuck. Yeah.
It's hard to watch, it's hard to get through. That whole Prince album, I was like, wait, Prince, the guy who did Purple Rain, did this fucking soundtrack? It's awful. It's a horrible soundtrack. But Jack Nicholson never changes to me. Like his Jack Napier into Joker, it's the same guy.
Yeah, but neither did what's his name who died on an overdose?
Jared Leto? Or
no, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger is consistent because he's already Joker. There's no transformation.
So was Jack.
No, Jack Napier, he falls in the pit, and then
It
you know,
was
he
over.
does surgery and shit. Well, no, he's already like the mobster, or whatever, before he becomes Joker in that movie. That's what I'm saying. Is like he's the same guy before and after. He just is a little more eccentric with like gags or whatever.
Hey, Rook, Black
Yeah.
Angus, I'm having such a good time tonight. This is awesome. I gotta tell you, you guys are great.
Well, thank you.
I love
man.
the different. I love the different views of what I've thought for years. Yeah. So you're right. Jack falls into the pit, and it's over. But Jared, was it not Jared?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. He fucking sold it. in
Oh
the,
my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, he sold it.
I seriously didn't know that was the same guy that's in like the Patriot and stuff for
yeah,
a while.
or
I'm like, that
Pirates,
guy is
right?
the Joker.
He was in Pirates.
Jesus.
He was in Pirates also, right?
No, it's
Wasn't he-
Orlando Bloom. No, he was in Knight's
He's
Tale.
another. He's a Knight's Tale.
Knight.
He's another
Yeah,
thing
right.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when that opening scene starts with her robbing the bank, and you're like, "Holy shit, this is
Yeah.
awesome!" But then, 20 years later, the Patrickson version comes out, and you're like, "This is a great fight to start the movie." He got his ass kicked. It was a the problem I had with the Batman was the end.
Yeah, it ran
Yeah.
on too long. It should have
Yeah,
that should have been the cliffhanger into the next film.
Cut at 30 minutes, I'd have been happy. But
Right,
I
because
love-
that's the long Halloween is like you the reader find out Batman never solved the case.
right.
And then in
Absolutely.
with the Riddler, that's a great twist of like, oh man, he almost thought Riddler figured out who he is. And like that cliffhanger's like, oh fuck, you're puckering up. And it's like, oh wait, he somehow he hasn't figured this out. Cool, awesome, I'm in the clear. And then it's like, oh yeah, you like caught me, but like my plan's still going on, Batman. And it's like, oh no, credits.
What'd y'all think about the Joker movie with the brother
Walking
that
Phoenix.
died? Yeah,
oh man, God, what a
I
It's
loved
really
it.
good.
I loved it.
It's a mixed bag. It is an amazing performance. He definitely deserved the Oscar. Actually, I think Adam Driver deserved the Oscar over Joker for Marriage Story. But I mean,
don't know what that-
either way.
What is that movie? Marriage
Oh
Story?
my God, Marriage Story is Kylo Ren from Star Wars, Adam Driver, and Scarlett Johansson, the Black Widow. They're a theater couple. Adam
Do you
Driver
know about
plays.
this movie, Rook?
I've told him about it. He hasn't.
Yeah,
watched it yet.
I'm aware of it. Yeah, I've seen some clips too. That Mahler's shown some clips from it. It's really fucking cool. As far as from what I could tell, the two of them
What's it
seems like
called?
a really
Marriage Story. It was a
Marriage
Netflix
Story.
movie.
I'm gonna put that in my phone right now. Sorry.
Yeah,
seems worth a watch.
it's essentially they're a theater couple. She's an actress. He's a like I don't know, playist, or I don't know what you call a director of like theater, but they're going to divorce. They have a child, and she's going to move back to LA, and he doesn't realize it's like, oh, she's going to stay in LA, so this creates a whole parenting issue.
Marriage
so-
what?
Story.
Story. Okay.
Yeah,
And he it's a really good showcase, surprisingly, from like libtard Netflix, to show how deceitful the marriage system is for what should be a very concise, simple marriage, and then like the business of it, and how it just is a continual sinkhole to try to like.
Why is marriage a business?
Sorry, what?
Why is marriage a business?
Yeah, well, this is the problem of capitalism, like, sure, I don't want to be a communist, but capitalism is not the answer. I don't know what is, but it's definitely not capitalism, because capitalism is just looking at, well, how can I capitalize on whatever situation? How can I make money off of this? It removes all humanity. It
Hey,
makes everyone
Brooke.
predatory.
Rook,
Yeah.
says the guy wearing the Eagles hat.
true.
Well, this is the tribe. This is a stand-in for warfare in some way, there's an extra value besides like, oh, here's just money, you know, like there's an identity behind this, you know, it's
You mean
not
like
just
paying
transactional.
$35 a book for Isom and going, what the fuck is this 3D art?
You brought it back to Isom. Yes.
Fuck
I love
Isom.
it. You know, it's funny. It's like people are like, "Oh my god, just move on." It's like, do you not think I've
No!
tried? Do you not think like
Never.
I could take a break and then more shit happens? Like, all right, we take a break. You know what's crazy is, you know, you got this Saska scoop about who they are. They're SJWs thoroughly,
No, they're
and
fucking idiots, and they suck ass as humans. And look, hey, Black Angus, if you had a twin brother, would you fucking kiss him on camera?
depends how much you pay me.
No, there's not enough. There's not enough money for that. Rook, is there enough money for that?
It's like kissing a mirror,
to
honestly.
kiss your brother. If you had a sister, would you kiss her?
I have a
No.
sister. No, thank you.
No, fuck that. We are. God,
Well, this is
damn it.
capitalism.
Different dimensions.
No,
here.
it's not capitalism. It's, you know what? You
Let's take it
fucking
to its full
suckers
conclusion.
watch this shit and live up to it, and we will have fun watching you pay for our garbage. It's fucking garbage, man. Dude, come on. Hey, Rook, do
Yeah.
you want to kiss me tonight? No. Ever.
You.
No.
Exactly.
And
I'm
if
gonna
it was
clip
your
that.
if it was your goddamn paternal brother, you'd be like, what the fuck is this bullshit? But these sisters said, no problem. We'll kiss for a horror movie.
But it's different. They look the same, so it's like they're kissing
Yeah,
themselves.
the Island Twins.
No.
Yes, the Island Boys. They've been making out.
I
or
would
whatever.
rather lick my cork than watch the Island Twins.
No, it's funny.
your
I was
chat is
I was going to check I was going to watch some of their movies because I'm like, oh, they're like indie filmmaker. They made some films. Okay, let me see what they're
ruined
and
it
they're making
for
a
'em.
comic book. Let me see what they got. But then Angus read a whole description of their movies, and I'm just like, okay, these are not movies that are for me. Like,
This is before the deep dive that we
Ew.
learned with EVS. I found this like at the time PhD film students synopsis of the Saska's work, and he had all these like collegiate kind of references of their interviews and stuff. And it was like a deep dive into like all their work is taking action and horror and erotica or pornography, whatever, everything that's male focused, and using it to subvert for their feminist like weirdo agenda. And it's like Eric hired these people because they did 5 issues of Black Widow. Oh my god, amazing. And it's like, who the fuck cares about Black Widow comics?
Those issues?
I don't know. Some people say it's good. I've heard recently some people like, I read it. It's actually a good story, but I'll dig into it, I guess. But it's only 5 issues. But I just don't care to read Black Widow in the first place.
Yeah.
And the fact that you would hire someone to be your lore managers of your universe because they wrote 5 issues. And it's like they also wrote some other like nuns cutting cops' dicks off comics. You know, so it's like you didn't even do the full research of their comic history.
Let's trust these girls to trust the lore of the Rippaverse, and say, Chuck Dixon, follow our lore. Chuck Dixon is a fucking mastermind of comic book writing, and like it or not, people understand what Chuck Dixon is about. Now, Eric should probably follow their lore, but if their lore is, guys, Isom 1 and Isom 2, if you've paid any attention, it is complete bullshit. It's garbage. Isom has no sense of where he wants to go as a character, and it's awful. And I bought
after
it
2 books,
and
which is basically 8 issues of a story.
Right. And that's my problem is, you know, people give me shit when I post my shit about Eric July on YouTube or Twitter. It's like, dude, I paid for this stuff. I actually bought it. So you can't give me that much criticism. If I was just some guy that was a transient, just hey, I'm gonna log on to this stuff and just start making fun of it. But I could actually show receipts of my purchases to Rippaverse. But why
Yeah.
should I? Fuck them. They don't show any. They don't show any receipts on the back end.
Some of these shills are just now getting their first book to read. They've been defending Eric for months from the
Yeah,
detractors.
that's the funniest thing. That's
It's
exactly
like, oh, I got my
right.
first Rippaverse book. Like,
Oh,
wait, what? You?
I got Rippa 1 and 2. I can't wait to get into it. Hey, Rippaverse, whatever the fuck they're called, fuck off. You've been berating Black Angus and Rook for 5 months about your lack of knowledge, but you've never even read it. Fuck you.
It's like,
We
I'll
are.
give you
Yeah,
such
we
intense
unfortunately
knowledge.
have read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say unfortunately.
I mean, we
I-
find joy. We find comedic joy out of it. Yes,
I
we
love
make
these
it fun.
books,
We make it
but
fun.
I love them creatively because, like I tell everyone, it's like, no, for real. If you want to like write a comic or just a story of any kind, I highly suggest you buy Eric's work as like a how not to guy. Like
Yeah.
it'll offer so many insights of like, why would
I
you
was
do
wondering
that?
where you were going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like
right.
there's things like, trying to make a comic where it's like, the amount of thought I've put in conceptually before I even like got promo art. And then I see what Eric did with his millions, and it's like, this guy does not give a fuck. He doesn't know shit about comics. Clipaverse, I don't know if you've seen it, but they covered his for
Riley?
Canon Stake number
Yeah.
1. Yeah, they did Canon Stake number 1, and the fact that Eric came away from Endgame and he's like, I don't get how Captain America is an old guy. This is the guy who doesn't want multiverses and timelines. This is
Yeah,
why he's
but
too
it's called-
retarded.
But it's called the Rippaverse.
And
The Rippaverse.
I am so
It's-
excited about the Horseman. The fact that he's trying to like chide people into how to pronounce it. It's like, no, Eric, just you make the trailers, the promos. You're like, hey, check out Horseman number 1. You don't correct people before the book's even out about how to pronounce it. Just you say it right. People will fall in line or will meme you. That's just to save things. You're going to make your own fans meme you with
Yeah,
Horseman.
But
because
let Chuck
you're
and the
correcting him.
artist, do what they do. If it's good, it's good. Look, I have no problem with saying a book is good if it's good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
That'd be the worst thing for me. I'll quit buying it if his stuff turns out good. I'll be
But if-
bored by it.
yeah, but if I see a image of the Horseman that looks like the Dark Knight from 1994, I'm gonna call it out, and I did because
What's weird is his helmet, his Gimp mask fetish helmet on the cover versus Joe Bennett's art. He gave him an actual like war helmet. It's like there's no
Right.
consistency. It's just like
Right.
I saw him.
And it's like Chuck is Chuck is older. He wants to make money. So he's got to, do what he can do to satisfy the people that are paying him. And that's great. But the artist has to fall in line with Chuck, and it's a weird place. And I've watched Chuck on and I've watched him on Hills or the Real BBC. It's like, man, I don't know what Eric paid you, but it can't be worth what you're giving up as a creator. I'm sorry.
Dignity.
He could make his own books and have another artist draw it and be so much more successful. Like Ethan. Guys, like it or not, he's got $500,000, $700,000 campaigns going on all over Indiegogo. And everybody wants to hate on him, but the guy knows how to sell to people like me, you, Black Angus, Rookie. We all watch him. We go, should I? Who? I think Brute looks great.
Rainbow the Brood, hell yeah.
Yeah, it looks great, right?
He
I think it would have
does
been if he could have gotten it out earlier. I
years
think that
ago.
would have been better because that was when it was more hot
Right. But
when the
at
woke
the end
stuff
of the
was taken
day,
off more. But it's still going to be good, even if it took a while.
it's still fantastic. The whole concept. I'm
Oh, yeah.
like, God. Hey, I'm sorry, I got dogs.
You're good.
I knew what you were doing, but it's just funny.
It's just like, man, I have to support this because that character looks so great, and the whole unicorns. What does he call them?
The girthy stallions,
Yeah, they're fucking fantastic. I can't wait to get that
napalm
done.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can't wait to get that because uh Ethan Van Sciver doesn't give a shit about the world around him. He cares about Comicsgate and the creators within Comicsgate. That's how I feel. And he's going to call all these posers out. And that's why we all watch him, right? Am I wrong?
That's part of it. I mean, he's funny. It's funny commentary. He makes good art, good comics. So
Did you watch the Batman drawing?
yeah,
I didn't see it, but I saw the in piece,
And
I'm
you
like,
saw where he
Jesus
colored
Christ.
it in, right? Did you see where he colored it in?
No.
no.
I should find it because it's fantastic. He's like, I was bored. I'm gonna color. I colored it in, and you're like, okay, who at DC right now is drawing Batman like this? But I don't go to the comic store every week to find out. I actually follow all of my Comicsgate guys and find out what they're putting out because I want to support them. I think that at the end of the day, they love comics. I don't think Eric July loves comics. I think he loves to sell shit to people who will buy whatever the fuck he's selling. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I feel like that's the bigger difference too. When people keep on comparing who gets them out quicker, it's like, well, Eric isn't drawing or coloring or making the comic really. So
Well, it's like, do I want to go to a steakhouse and wait an hour to get my meal and
Yeah.
be thoroughly pleased, or do I want McDonald's? It's like, well, I know what I'm getting with McDonald's, and it's going to be on time, and then I'll forget about it. Where it's like you go to a great restaurant, like, oh man, I can't wait till I can afford to go back to that thing.
Right. It's like you walk into this steakhouse, you're like, man, I'm gonna order that ribeye and whatever the hell comes with it. And 2 hours later, it shows up to your table, and you're like, wow, that was an experience. Kind of like a good book. But then you get McDonald's, you're like, oh, and that's what
you regret it later usually.
this book is.
It's
It's a McDonald's experience.
Did you?
And Will, it was just like, this is fucking so base ass. The Critical Drinker wrote a base book. It was like, the art was cool, but the story was mid to.
Was it that Drake series or whatever?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did you read Alpha Core?
Did I read it?
Yeah. I know you read Ice on 1 and 2. I don't know if you didn't check out Alpha Core.
Yeah, I stopped.
Oh my god, you got to read Alpha Core because it's hilarious.
But I don't want to buy it.
I get that. I'm sure you can find it on eBay cheap, but I just want to get your thoughts on this because I had to ask you if you read it first. So like there's the electric guy. It's in the trailer. So how they get to him is he's not even the target. This is what's crazy because they call for the Alpha Core, and so they send Braxel. So he's on the way. Then you cut back to the apartment complex, and so they're trying to bust the door down because they have a warrant for a check. But her boyfriend is the electric guy, Galvin. So Galvin blows up the door and he starts attacking the cops. And he's really about to fuck him up. And then Braxwell swoops in and kicks him in the face and then shorts him out by breaking a water pipe that's randomly on the ground. But then you get the follow through. This is what's crazy because this is Eric's world. they have a warrant for grand theft on the girlfriend. So you're like, oh, okay, she's with a bad guy, except she must have done something crazy, rob a bank or something. No, she says like you're under arrest for grand theft, whatever. It's like, what, for shoplifting from the dollar store? So in Eric's free nation of Texas, they are using the police force like SWAT to kick your door down for a warrant because you shoplifted from dollar store. This is how extreme this world is. No one's pointed this out because of everything else, but I'm like, what is the law of Texas with this book? Like this is like when you go to like an Arabic country and they cut your hand off for stealing from like the vendors outside.
Yeah, it's like Ethan says, like he never really says where anything is happening. Right? 2 weeks
The
ago,
vagaries.
yeah, it's very vague, and you're like, but I want to feel like I am in a world, and Eric never gives you the actual world. So
You'll get that in 20 issues. Just keep paying.
yeah, we're gonna find out what Isam's power are in when, and his. I watched a stream the other day where Eric says this. It was a yellow flash. Y'all seen it where yellow flash is like, well, he can fly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I clipped that.
There's some imagery that says that he can fly.
Then Eric's like, yeah, he can't fly.
Well, it's funny
So-
because they jumped on Dick for that because he's like, wait, he can fly, like he says in the book, and then they jump him. No, he can't fly. You clearly didn't read. He's like, Flash said this.
Flash said this, right?
It's a perfect example of how retarded this whole hive is, and how defensive
do you guys
they are.
enjoy Dick and Vito?
Oh man,
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
I started following Dick when Vito had his thing with Ricada or with the Alex Jones tweet.
Yeah.
And so I watched the Dick show, and then he kept mentioning or something. And so then I checked in and I found the biggest problem. What's funny is it like rounded out from the Dick show to the biggest problem because the Adam Sessler interview they had after the G4 debacle. They had
Adam
Sessler on, and I
That
think Bounding Into
motherfucker.
Comics reported on it because they were reporting on like his quotes. And I'm like, I got to check out this stream. And then it's like, oh shit, it's Dick. And then okay, Vito. I don't think ever seen a Vito video. I might have seen him on the Mahler stream with Major Lee, but I never like had a face. And so it's kind of crazy that it's the G4 because I was on a stream recently with Vito where he was covering Sessler or something. I'm like, wait, this is why I started watching Biggest Problem, Vito, is because of the Sessler interview. So it all rounded out. But ever since then, I've been watching them consistently. They're just funny as fuck. And with all the ripitards and people right off Vito, I have to keep defending him. Like, no, Vito is fucking funny. If it was just Dick, it'd be fine. But Vito really makes the show, and the fact that he is willing to be the punching bag every week, all the time, I think it says a lot about him. Eric could never do that. He could never be the punching bag. He could never be the butt of the joke.
Eric's a fucking clown show.
Yes.
Yes. Come on, guys. He can't be the heavy. If he is a heavy, he goes over the top, and he can't be the punching bag like Vito is. See, so Dick, he'll punch on Vito, but he's also like, whatever, dude. You bring it back, and I'll take it. So I like Dick. We walked down for like a mile and a half to the show in Nashville, and like I told you earlier, I said, dude, just keep it up with this Eric shit. Fuck Eric July. Just ram the shit out of him. It's like it was fantastic. And look, guys, I have no presence anywhere. I'm just an old man living in Central America or Central United States. And I've got people like you following me on Twitter, or Dick Masterson is following me on Twitter.
Nice.
Why would he follow me? Because at the end of the day, I'm just an honest guy. So when you've been through life like I have, I've raised 4 kids, I've had shitty jobs. I've moved from Arkansas, or from Florida, Arkansas, to California, back to Ohio, back to California, back to Ohio, to Illinois, Arkansas, back to Illinois, Kansas, all these places, because I'm chasing money, right? We're all chasing the next promotion or the next pay raise. And after a while, you go, that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. We have to
You're gonna have
be,
more than just the money.
the money sucks. Caring about the 4 kids that you're raising is more important than making your wife pack up a U-Haul truck while you're 2,000 miles away, and then she can, have it ready for you when you literally.
Sorry, you just made me think of Ryan Long last night. There was this, he did a little crowd work, and he was talking something about divorce or whatever, relationships, and then he asked this woman, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm divorced, whatever, and he's like, oh man, I love equality, because like she has to pay him alimony because
Yeah.
he couldn't get a job. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this guy ruled. And so through the whole night he kept like bringing it back to that chick and her state. And it's funny because she is apparently working in HR. It's like, wow, you're footing the bill for this night out when you on your HR money, and your husband took half of it. Like, are all your friends broke?
It's like, I've been married a long time. I've raised 4 kids, and it's just one of those things where you go, the people that I watch online, they have no idea what life is about. Eric July's in his early 30s, and he's had ultimate success with a bullshit book, right? But he's never gonna achieve the success of ISOM 1 ever. He's never going to do $2.7 million on his first book.
I think Yaira is going to be an uptick for him.
Uptick from what? 1 million from the last book?
Yeah.
1.2, I'm sorry.
Well, the Horseman actually might make. It's funny. I don't know if you noticed, but Eric actually said he's not going to campaign for the Horseman, which is hilarious. That shows how little faith he's got in it.
Why do you own your company?
Well, he's like, oh, Chuck Dixon came with an idea and wants to put it in the Rippaverse, but it's his story, so that's as hands-on as it is. That's
you know what it is.
Story,
you know what it is. He can't campaign and let Chuck Dixon actually make more than him.
Right. I agree at
that. He made me want to prove that, oh, well, see, I didn't make $1 million this time, a Rippaverse thing. So does that prove something or not? Or does he think that he'll make $1 million without?
Well, the thing about the Horseman is, even if it becomes, they've already handicapped themselves because they said it's a one shot. So, like, what's the point of backing the Horseman, a new character?
Thank you. Yeah,
he's not been in any of the other books, unlike Yaira and Alphacore, where you already undercut their number ones because they've already appeared in ISOM.
He's a street level one cut badass, right? That's what he said. That's what Chuck Dixon said.
A Batman or Punisher for this world, like that might have some real meat to it. However dumb this world is so far.
It's fucking dumb.
Well, hey,
but
appreciate.
But again, don't all of these nerdrotic sphere guys hate multiverse shit? They all hate the multiverse. They all hate. Yeah, they do, right? They all hate, like, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. They hate the Ant-Man multiverse with Kang and all that stuff. But they're willing to accept the Rippaverse, which is a one-off, like you said, of the Horseman, where he is a street-level badass written by Chuck Dixon, which will probably be interesting if you're open-minded, right? You have to. I believe in being open-minded with all of its content, but Eric calls his books content, and that bothers me. I want to be like it's sold as art. Don't you?
Yeah, well, I think he also said that, like, he's more concerned with the business than with the art.
Right.
or the creative side and stuff.
Black Angus, are you selling your stuff as content? No.
No.
No. Absolutely not. You want people to buy it because they like your artwork and they like your story.
Yeah, no, I've put a lot of thought into setting up Meth Gator in his world, making it all plausible for a fictitious gator. Just the name sounds ridiculous.
It's awesome.
It makes you
It's
think of
awesome.
Cocaine Bear, and it's funny because like I'll like mention someone and they're like, oh, it's gonna be like Cocaine Bear. I'm like, not at all, actually. I'm writing a real character. Like I think people will probably be underwhelmed because they're expecting like some wacky comedy, and I'm going for like a real character from a wacky origin of meth, but I think that might keep them around though, because it's like, oh wow, like I completely subverted my expectation, even though I've never have sold it as like wacky meth gator, methamphetamines, lol. Yeah, it's a real effort book. But any last stuff you want to say to the audience? Plug your channel. We're going to get out of here. We got to watch a movie.
What are you watching?
We're probably going to do a coin toss. So sometimes we'll do like a playoff bracket where we'll each pick 2 movies, and then say if like I win the first toss, he could win the next toss choosing which of the 2 movies I picked. But we're probably just going to toss over Guardians 3 or Heat, because he's never seen Heat or Guardians. I've seen both. I really wanted to watch Heat.
Is this a Twitch thing?
No. It's just
we're just gonna watch it and
we hang out over the phone and watch a movie together.
Wow, that's awesome, guys.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a couple of years.
I watched Heat years ago, and I never believed that Pacino and De Niro were in this room at the same time.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
But
I've told Ricky, it's when you watch Heat and then go back and watch Dark Knight, you're like, oh, Dark Knight's amazing because it's just Heat with Batman.
It's a really good movie, but you had Heat, and I haven't seen Guardians 3 yet.
It's not bad.
I've heard it's really good, and that's even from Eric or Nerdrotic. He said, "Hey, it's good, but it's not great."
My thing is,
I like the main actor.
Yeah, the thing with Guardians 3 is it's surprisingly, and Marvel just always trying to expand and stuff. This is a very simple, contained story. It's really like they go to some wacky spots, but it's really just about the couple people in the team.
Sure.
And so it's pretty self-contained. It's kind of bittersweet how it ends.
Does Starman die?
Can't tell you. You'll have to watch on
Hey,
Disney
Melissa, have you watched it? You're really posting a lot. Have you seen it? Are you worried about spoiler reviews?
Yeah, I just don't want to spoil it for you when you go in straight. You can find out online if you really want to know. But I'm not going to tell you.
Are you guys a Peacemaker fan?
No,
I did not see it.
I like him as a counter to Bloodsport and Suicide Squad, but I watched one episode of the show. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not watching this shit.
Are you guys? What's the other show on Amazon? The Boys.
The Boys. Oh fuck yeah! I'm a big Boys fan.
You're a big Boys fan.
I have not seen Gen V. I haven't completed that show yet, but I heard it's got a good cliffhanger. So we'll see. It's just I got too much stuff. Yeah, I have the benefit of having too much to indulge in.
Yeah, right. We all do, right? As long as if you're paying attention, we all have. What does your shirt say, Brooke?
No, it's perfection. It's Tremors. Tremors shirt.
Yeah, Ricky is surprisingly a big Tremors guy.
I've been noticing that a lot lately on YouTube. Like, Tremors is a perfect movie. Really? Who is
pretty
the lead
solid?
I don't know if it's perfect, but I'd say it's really good for structure. It takes a Jaws type of approach, but different.
Is that Dennis Quaid as the lead?
No, Kevin Bacon.
No, Kevin Bacon
Chris
and Fred Ward.
Christopherson?
No, Fred Ward.
Fred Ward.
Fred, he's
And
great.
then Michael Gross is Burt Gummer. He's the one that they made all the other movies around and stuff. But
yeah.
Oh
I-
no,
they-
Fred
they have-
Ward
they have an issue-
died. He's
they have
dead.
an issue. They have an issue where like episode 5, 6, and 7 of Tremors are pretty much their Jake Skywalkering sequel trilogy kind of stuff. Where they have him naked in a cage, drinking his own piss. He gets pissed on by a lion. Gets just he's like.
God damn, it sounds like my nightly home experience. So that was like by Tremors 3 or what?
And that was Tremors 4, 5, and or I'm sorry, 5, 6, and 7. Tremors 2 is fine. Tremors 3, a lot of people don't like, but I think it's okay. Tremors 4 is like a prequel. It's Tremors 5, 6, and 7 that are the stay away from. They even had like a 13 episode TV show, which was not great, but it's fine. It doesn't harm anything really. So,
Are you
Ellen
guys a
has some
Stargate
concepts.
Troopers fan?
oh what?
Oh yeah, I like the first movie.
Yeah, it's great. right?
Starship Troopers?
Stargate Troopers, yeah.
Did you say Starship Troopers?
Starship,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the
I
first
knew
one's
what he
pretty
was
good.
saying.
I
It's
remember.
fun.
I don't remember the second and third one enough. I know the second one there's like little bugs that like attack them in a building or something, and then there's the third one. There's like a whole planet-sized one, and they're like it's like puppeting some people, and then there's like a huge religious thing, and they're like God is on our side against these stupid fucking bugs, and it's like okay.
See, the Tremors don't scare me until their mouth opens and they got those fucking tentacle.
The
tongues.
tongues.
That's what freaks me out.
Yeah.
And then the walk-in ones, they're like velociraptors. It's
Shriekers.
Like, fuck, what the?
then
how am I gonna-
ass blasters
No,
sounds like
no,
a porno
that,
film.
That is where it gets stupid. Where I'm like, okay, I'm not scared of ass blasters.
a little,
That's,
but
that's
there's-
just go to San Francisco. They're everywhere.
Well, it's literally more of a they're prepared for these other things, but then they discover there's this thing and they're not ready, they're not prepared for that situation. So once they figure it out, it's usually easy enough for them to deal with. The show goes into a couple of interesting things with the Shriekers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I do recommend
Do
the
you guys,
show.
do you guys like Firefly?
Never watched it.
Don't remember it enough.
I hate
it's a-
David. I hate Filoni or whatever his name is. I hate his face. I don't like looking.
He doesn't
at him.
like Nathan Fillion.
Nathan
Oh.
Fillion. I hate his face.
I'm okay with him, but
He's got a good voice, like in for like
It was
super.
a
heroes,
one
but-
season episode that I think it was Josh Whedon wrote, and they canceled it, but people were heartbroken because if you like sci-fi, you like sci-fi, right? And when good sci-fi goes away, you're like, God damn it! Whatever.
Oh.
Watch.
Raised by Wolves. Did you watch that on HBO?
That's the animated series, right?
No. Raised by Wolves is it's in the future. Essentially the world has come down to the what is it? Mithraic, I think is what they called, and then the like atheists. And the atheist took one of the Mithraic's robots and reprogrammed her to be like
Damn
the
it,
mother.
Josh! What the hell, dude?
It's really cool, but they canceled after 2 seasons. It's a slow burn and it's a mystery box show, but they answer the mysteries. But every time they answer a mystery, there is like 10 more mysteries from that. Where you're like, wait, now that I know that, what is going on here? And it's a show about faith and science and how both become dogmatic. Where
What's
the
it called
atheists.
again?
It's called Raised by Wolves. You probably have to buy it physical to watch it because they canceled it on HBO.
But it's still on their list, right?
I don't think so. I haven't been able to find it streaming, so I just bought the 2 seasons. And they actually have a really cool series on like any of the HBO shows. They'll usually have a series on Spotify of like a host, and they'll interview the director, producers, actors sequentially. Get some deep insight into the show. So if you like the show, I suggest watching the Spotify show. Mithraism. So they worship Sol. It's very kind of like Crusader like, but it's like not straight like Christian. It's sort of like invoking Christ and or like Roman Sol. or Mithras, I guess. They call him Soul in the show, but like it's really evoking Mithras. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Dave. I put your link in the description and I just put it in the chat right here for people to click on. Go sub if they like crapping on ISOM, Eric July, Yellow Flash,
if they like bourbon reviews.
Bourbon.
And
Like, yeah.
you guys are fantastic. This is my first ever live stream. And if you guys have me back, I'll be happy to be here. It's fantastic. You guys are awesome. Rook, stay on screen more often. Black Angus, it's been great. You guys are fantastic.
Appreciate having you on, man.
It was fun.
I'm so thank you, Ripaverse Goalpost, for bringing Dave to light for us.
He is.
It's a good little promoter.
I think it's on our side.
I do too, yeah.
But
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Arden Thrasher, for popping in the chat, and Stony McInternet Douche, my friend. Thank you, Melissa, for the $5 earlier. Thank you all for your viewership, and go sub to Dave.
Let me check my YouTube channel real quick. Let's see if you guys have grown my whatever. Who cares? Fucking, you want to close out? Go ahead.
People will see it on the rewatch probably, if anything.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So I appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely get you on in the future. I would have had you on last week, but I already had a guest, Lobster Magnets Reviews.
Was that better?
Fun. No, it wasn't better. It's just like I already had him set up, and I didn't want to have two new people trying to navigate. So, I try to keep it. Even if I have more than 3 people, it's only like one new person, so they're not overwhelmed or overshadowed.
Sure.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, and we will see you all next week. Again, go sub to Dave, and we'll see you Thursday.
Hey, Black Angus, please send me your link next week when you're getting ready to go live so I can post it so everybody knows it's on.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, guys.